Wave. I'm in it for keepsake. In the field with the cleat lace. Beat foot with the bare face and a slick tongue, that's what she say. She look good, she a big tease when she bite lip with the wink face. Hella bad when she throwing it back, she bring that my way for the team play. For Pete's sake, I'm above average, I padded my stats. I gotta matter what he say. I'm the 2010 young LeBron James with the bat boy, type of bad boy. Hold it down for the task force. If I run his fate, then you ask for it. Niggas cross need to laugh more. I keep it 100 on dashboard. The live show needed passport, cause the beat bounced to the cap torn. Feel like I live it fast forward, but I asked for it. Misfit, got a quick lit on a crash course from the tattered garment to the tabloid. Fuck how I live it into existence. Might be ahead of myself, but the bank account did jump up a couple figures. Feel like nobody could fuck with us. I'm a flight risk. I play among the stars in the Hollywood Hill, the space station couldn't even get in touch with me. Praise faith that I stuck with it. Wave.
No, I really can't complain. Everything is straight. I've been on a wave where everything I say turn into the real thing. I tell her run it up, cause you know it ain't a thing. We made it out the slums with the words on the page. Everything is straight. I've been on a wave where everything I'm saying turn into the real thing. I've been living like I'm famous, like I don't show my face as I'm jumping on the stage, like I'm living in a daydream. Thoughts and imagination. She only want me when she fake. She quick to tell me I'm a fake. She ain't told no lie, she love it when I catch my cadence. She gone off the deep end, pull up every weekend. I hate to let her down, but I'm in a fast life, so you never slow me down. Heart rate jumping like you know sleep well. How you switch up, you always help me down. Wonder why I turn into a cold of me now. It could be worse, right? I got where I'm at without no work-life balance. You tell me that it's love, but I'm knowing that it's malice. Squad with me, God, cut us from the same fabric. No, I really can't complain. Everything is straight. I've been on the wave where everything I say turn into the real thing. Tell them run it up, you know it ain't a thing. We made it out of songs with the words on the page. Everything is straight. I've been on the wave where everything I'm saying turn into the real thing.
Welcome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Yeah, we got a topic for you today, as always, coming with that fire. All right, so greetings to everyone just coming in. Hope your Monday was great. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. Hope you had a great weekend. For those of you who are parents, I know how you get down, whether they're young or old. I hope you had a great Sunday, maybe, but that might not even be saying too much. I know Saturday is family day. Sunday is just preparation for Monday. So, hey, here we are again. We working, but shout out to everybody working out there, doing what needs to be done to raise these youth. Shout out to you taking care of your family. And those of you who don't see your family, I ain't got nothing to say to you. So shout out to my people, though, everyone in the chat. Let's give a shout out to the Lapeef Network. Everybody, please make sure if you have not already, like and subscribe to the Lapeef Network. And what I also want you to do, I'm going to talk today a little bit about contribution. All right. If you can't financially contribute to the show, that's fine. That's fine. But one way you can contribute to this show in general, I want you to, without leaving the stream, of course, share this out, share this content out to the people out there, people that want to hear on this topic. Obviously, we talk about some kind of clickbaity topics, but I do have some real substantive knowledge to pass on this particular subject. All right. So, yeah, it's a bit clickbaity, but we know that we're talking about real stuff. And I want to talk about it not only in the sense of women having a whole phase, but men in their bachelor or, women will call it a whole phase as well. Share this out, whether it's through your Instagram chats without leaving the stream. All right. Share this out to your Instagram, share this out to your Facebook groups. Make a post on Facebook letting people know that this is what we're talking about today, and to like and subscribe to the Lapeef Network in general. All right. So please, that is one way you can contribute to the show for absolutely free. All right. Let's see who we got in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us today. The accountability partner, my man, what's going on? Happy Monday to you. All right. JQ, this title, I know, bro. When I'm coming up with this stuff, I get hype. I get hype like, ooh, it's not even that they're going to love it. I gauge the title on how much people going to hate it. My name is not Trigger Mike because I like to trigger people, but somehow it just became a double entendre that way. All right. Willie Walker, what's going on? Welcome. Hope you're in the chat. Hope to converse with you today. We got HR in the building. Lapeef HR. If you have, I think I heard Lapeef say this a few times. Yeah, if you have any complaints to fill out, please make sure send them right. If you have hurt feelings reports, if something we say trigger you, I personally don't care. That's my name. That's what I do. I am Trigger Mike after all. But anyway, fill it out with HR. Jeffrey Woodland, salute to you, my brother. All right. Another Monday. Good to see you. Hack, what's going on? Salute. Love C, always faithful. I appreciate the love. Monique King, what's going on? Thank you for coming through. Miss Nurse Fancy, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Monday. My man, Dark Lake. What's up, bro? All right. Everyone, Straight Gate Media. Getting through with he talking his ish early. That's what I'm talking about. ABX5, what's going on, man? Chelsea, what's going on? Will Page, I see you. Morning to everybody in the chat. Hey, thanks for coming through. We got our first super chat early. Might as well read it. For good content, you can drop a little change. Costs nothing to share. Hit the like. Go ahead and cook up, Mike. I appreciate that, bro. The accountability partner. My man, check him out on his page as well. Marriage, Politics, and Sports. You're welcome to come up. We have as somebody who is a father and a husband of as long as you have been married, I'd love to hear your perspective on this particular topic. All right. So remember, you can contribute to the show by simply liking and sharing this content out. Don't leave the stream. Just hit that share button. Share this out on your Facebook group. Share this out on your Instagram chats. Let people know this is what we're talking about here. If you want to really look at this in a sense, I think there's nothing that can be done for us. If you're a certain age, you've already had this phase, right? Let's just go ahead and put that out there. We're not talking to you. You shouldn't really take any offense to this. What's done is done. If you're over 30, what's done is done on this particular topic, okay? But we got to teach the youth something different. They are coming behind us. They are actually the worst. They are set up the worst to avoid this type of situation. You see what I'm saying? Salute to you, Cart Before Horse Productions. Hopefully I see you up here chatting with us today. All right, so let's get into the topic. The topic today is, was your whole phase worth it? Was your whole phase worth it? Now, for those of you who like to gaslight and pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about, right? You're just sitting there like, whole phase, what's that? I'm a sexually liberated woman, or we can do what we want in this society. There are no more traditional norms. If you're that type of gaslighter, please stay tuned. We have knowledge to drop for you today. All right? Please stick around. All right, so let's get some backstory here. How did we get to this point in society today? How did we even get to the point where we can ask a question about the whole phase? How did we get here on this particular topic today? Well, the backstory, for those of you who know, it's not any surprise to you. The first part of the backstory is feminism. Feminism got us here. Okay? So most notably, feminism was the movement that basically said women should have more rights. And just so we're clear, men agreed. Women should have the right to vote, agreed. Women should have the right to have their own bank accounts and access to their own wealth, agreed. Women should have the right to determine whether they want to get married or not and who they get married to, agreed. But there are some things within feminism that work against women and to the detriment of society in general. Can we all agree? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. Some things about feminism, and ladies, I'm actually talking to you. I want to know. Some things about feminism you can admit are just bad for you and society in general. If you somebody who loves your family and can agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you say, yes, feminism for all of its equality factors and all of the narratives about equality in general, I agree. But all of the things that were detrimental to the family unit and that turned out not to be so great for women, we really don't agree with that. Go ahead, continue to put those 1 in the chats those ones in the chat if you agree. All right, so we know feminism got us here. Okay, feminism made the case for female sexual liberation. That was really the straw that broke the camel's back on the topic that we're talking about today. Female sexual liberation is how we got to the Heaux phase. And I don't think it's actually just the women in general. We have to give a little bit more detail into how women became indoctrinated into a lifestyle where they could be sexually liberated. We have to talk about mothers, where the mothers failed on this particular topic. We all know, please don't gaslight the situation. Fathers have the overreaching responsibility. The cloud of responsibility is fathers. Either their presence and their failure or their absence entirely. Fathers have the overreaching accountability. We get that. But when we get down to the minutia of what happened, mothers also have accountability in this failure that we have as a society. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. That yes, fathers are ultimately responsible, but mothers have some culpability too. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Moms need to get their time in front of the congregation as well for this. Moms are partly responsible for the Heaux phase. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. All right. So moms told their daughters, I think the greatest lie that we have as a society today and how we got here is, baby girl, you got time. You got time. Live your life. Go to school. See the world. Travel. You have time. That was the biggest lie, in my opinion. That's my opinion. That was what opened the door wide open to all of this. Telling young girls they have time. Literally, the gender that has a biological clock. Literally, men's biological clock probably is double yours. I know that there are some arguments about the quality of sperm and all of that, but men's biological clock is double. We have time. I'm not telling my daughter she has time. I'm not telling her she has time to procreate. I'm not telling her she has time to mess around. None of that. I'm not out here telling young girls that. The truth is, baby girl, you don't have time. Unfortunately, you don't have time. College was your time. 18 to 23, if I'm being lenient, was your time. After that, you better take this stuff serious. The moves you make from, let's say, 23 to 35 are going to dictate the way you're going to be moving for the rest of your life. If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. A woman has to get her life in order faster than a man does. If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. That is absolutely true. I would love to debate anyone who wants to come on here and tell me, no, it's the same. It's equal. Men have to get their lives in order. Women have to get their lives in order faster because they are more affected by the outcome if they don't. You got to get your life in order, ladies. I'm sorry. That's like that's one of the unfortunate things about being a woman. I recognize that, and I will say that on this show. We understand the burdens that women carry in society. I'm not, void of that type of understanding. I understand that it's unfair. It's unfair that you get to watch men out here being bachelors until they're 40 years old, sometimes 50 years old. It's unfair that you have to stop enjoying yourself. You have to stop getting flued out at a certain age so men can take you seriously. It's unfair, but that's the life that we live in. That is one of the very few double standards. The very few double standards that benefit men. It's one of the only ones. So why wouldn't we, use it to death, right? So that's how we got here. Moms telling their daughters, you have time. Baby girls, see the world. Naturally, that transcended into women having a Heaux phase without understanding what that would do to their prospects, their marital prospects, even biologically and through biochemistry. They did not understand what that would do to them in the future. That's how we got here. So let's talk about some other stuff. How did it get this bad this fast? All right. How did we get to this point where we've possibly done irreparable damage to women in the Western society? The loss of a father's protection. Remember Trigger Mike's stance on this. There is no such thing as de-discipline. Never has been. Very few men can practice it, and the ones that do probably can't get no ass anyway. If we're being honest, there are very few men that can get a lot of women that will practice de-discipline. Let's just be honest. If you able to get some ass, you hitting something. That's the first. I know, AP. Most men disagree with me on this. What I'm saying is fathers used to restrict access to their daughters. Men have been built to score. Okay? Men have been built to score on your daughter. That is literally their biological purpose. Score on these women. Women need to be better goalies. Shout out to my man Fatty for on that one. So I'm gonna give y'all, since I'm a shooter, a competitive shooter, I'm gonna give y'all the shooting reference. All right. I'm gonna give y'all the shooting reference. Men are shooters. Women are targets. You need to be a better moving target. You need to move. You can't let a man hit that. We're the shooters. We're gonna take our shot. You need to be a better target. You need to move. You need to evade. Fathers used to help with that. That's what I'm saying. Teach your daughter to be a better target. Teach her to be an evasive target. All right? Fathers need to stand in the way. If fathers were in the home, this problem would never have been this bad. So the loss of fatherly protection is how we got here. That's another reason. All right? However, we all know the ton of things encompassed in that. We don't need to hash all of that out. We've all been in this space long enough to know why men are absent from the home. Marriage, the downgrading and devalue of marriage is how we got here. Girls do not see an accurate depiction of what being with a man looks like. Therefore, it becomes a lot easier to engage in the Heaux phase. Okay? That much is true. We know that. Preserving your value for marriage. I guess that's encompassed in all of the family stuff. Ladies, let me talk to y'all for a sec. I know many of you have adopted the doctrine that you can be out here moving like men, but the amount of men you can sleep with has never determined your value. Please show me somewhere in the world where people are praising the name of a woman simply because she slept with a lot of dudes. That if there is such a woman, that's not why they're praising her. You are listen, your value is not in how many dudes you sleep with. It's how many dudes want to sleep with you but can't hit. Can I say that again? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. It's not how many dudes you sleep with. Dudes will sleep with anything, obviously. It's how many dudes want to sleep with you. How many men of value want you but can't hit you? How good of a moving target are you? Do you know how many times, man? Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell on us. I'm gonna tell on us from college, man. We had a wall. We had a wall in the football dorm. I didn't play football. I just lived in the football dorm. We would write the name of all of the baddest joints on campus and who hit it. Sometimes I go on there and be like, you lying, because I like the girl, right? You lying, nobody hit that. And sure enough, her name was up there. They definitely did. So if you were going to take a girl seriously, you had to look at the dude she slept with and the date and be like, all right, her name is only up here once or not at all. Because the girl that we deem the most valuable is the girl that was not on that wall. If your name ain't on that wall, men talk too. We got to know. We got to ensure paternity of the children. We want to know if the woman we wifing is a hoe or not. Isn't that natural? Are we going to get blamed for that? So yeah, we want to know how many dudes couldn't hit this woman. That's what's valuable to us. Ladies, it's not the same. You value sexual experience in men. Men do not necessarily value sexual experience in women. Hell no, we don't. Teach your daughters better. All right? Teach your daughters better. Come on. All right, Sin 7, I see you. Better watch yourself. Boot your ass out this chat. Anyway. All right. So we got here. We understand the story of how we got here. Women have participated in too much casual sex. I'm even thinking about doing a topic that says casual sex isn't even casual at all. Here's why I make that depiction. And JR, drop the link in the chat. We're going to start the panel up soon. Let me make this really clear before I ask people up. I do want men and women on this topic. Ladies, what's up, Fred? I see you. Ladies, I do not expect you to come up and talk about whether you had a whole phase or not. I want to know if you believe a whole phase is detrimental to women in general or not. I am not that type of dude. I do not expect you to talk about your own personal experience or whether you had one or not. And I will defend you on this panel if anybody tries to ask you that directly. I want to know if you believe that feminism created this monster and if it needs to be tamed down and if women need to prioritize preserving themselves. That's what I want to talk about. All right. Don't think I'm about to come over here and lambast you and ask you if you a hoe or not. I'm not about to do that. Any lady, you know what I mean? I got ladies that came up. We had PhD Diva come up. We had Auntie J come up before. We had Raw B come up before. Anna, we all right on you for right now. In fact, you 23. You're probably in the middle of it. I don't want to talk to you right now. But any woman that want to come up, we just want to holler at you about whether you think the whole phase is detrimental to society or not. We're not going to get into personal situations. Dudes, we could talk about it if we want to. Okay? We could talk about where it went wrong. Hey, somebody even mentioned a vasectomy, right? We could talk about all of this stuff where that led. In fact, I want to have a real conversation with the men. I want to have a real conversation with the men about where, if you were too much of a bachelor, if that hurt your prospects. Because ladies, put a 1 in the chat if you believe a man who slept with too many women has ruined himself for marriage. If he's as great of a partner, if you feel like a man can ruin himself from having too many partners, put a 1 in the chat, ladies. I'm not necessarily going to agree, but I want to know what you think because your opinion matters too. All right. So we talking about how casual sex is not really that casual. Now, before I want to make this last point before we get into bringing people up. Okay, ladies, not only is casual sex not that casual, and one of the purposes of preserving yourself and why I believe the whole phase wasn't worth it for many women don't make it out of the whole phase unscathed. What do y'all think? The whole phase can actually hurt you. If you let your whole phase go on too long, I do not know too many women that made it out of that without a child. Do y'all believe that or what? Do y'all believe that a woman who spends too much time in the whole phase will eventually end up with a baby? So that is a huge question for y'all. Is it worth it? Was your whole phase worth it? Was that child you got out of it worth it? Most women that continue sexual activity for a long span of time, you're going to get what comes from sex, right? A baby. That is one of the reasons I believe many women are jaded today. They were just trying to carry on like men. And oops, I forgot. I got a womb. This is going to take toll on my body, not his. You had a baby. You didn't preserve yourself. The baby father didn't stay with you. We've seen this story all too many times. Now you out here trying to take yourself seriously, and you may have diminished your chances at a substantial, mature love experience with the right partner. That's why I believe many women, if you're being real with yourself, you'll have to say your whole phase wasn't worth it. But if you believe that women need this type of experience, if you believe that there is absolutely nothing wrong with it, let me know. I want to chat with you. All right, let me know if you believe that, no, women can do their thing. Women can be out here, doing what men do, and they can do that without any consequences. There are really no consequences to this type of behavior. If you believe that, let me know. I'm not going to call you delusional to your face. Not to your face. I'm not going to call you delusional to your face, but we really want to know how women feel about this. Because if we're going to push society in general, I don't even talk in terms of community. We are all a part of the society. The Americans are revered around the world. We got fighters. That UFC fighter was like, yo, America, what happened to y'all? This dude was in America, I think, saying that after he just defeated somebody. America, what happened to you? Why did you let God go? Why are your values diminishing? Maybe we're not so revered in the world anymore. Somebody's going to be bold enough to say that on our own territory. Ezekiel, I see what you're saying. He says, men don't have a whole phase. That's actually a part of what I'm going to say later. There is no such thing, man. I'm going to be real. We call it, and it has always been called, the bachelor phase. That's it. Men are bachelors. Ladies, if you think men do have a whole phase, put a 1 in the chat. If you believe men have a whole phase, put a 1 in the chat. Fellas, if you believe men don't have a whole phase, and we are very comfortable with history calling it the bachelor phase, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Ladies, of course, y'all think men can be hoes too, but historically, that can't be substantiated. No one has ever been written off in history. No man has ever been written off in history. All of his accolades, the things he's accomplished, simply because he was able to bed a lot of women. If he was, it didn't happen like that. If he was good to these women, if he was, handsome, if he was a warrior, those women were considered spoils of war. Like that's just what women do. Women like the most dominant, the most masculine. All right. And that's just the way that went down. No man has ever been basically put to the sword because he got a lot of women. Not in that way, anyway. He probably slept with somebody's woman if he was going to get put to the sword for it. All right. Definitely. All right. Another point as to why I believe this is why I think the whole phase isn't worth it for women. Ladies, I don't know how many partners are too many. I don't know how many partners are too many for you. And this is also another topic for another day. So we'll start with it. We'll start with this question. Fellas only. How many bodies is too many for you to consider her non-wifey material? How many bodies are too many? This is going to be a funny question. How many bodies are too many for you not to consider her wifey material? For you to just kind of take a pause and be like, ew, right? If you were to actually if you could consult with God and look at the time orb of time and be like, this is how many dudes she slept with, what would gross you out? That's the question. Damn, 5, 8, 1, 7. Oh boy, ladies, this is looking bad on y'all. We haven't even got to the number yet that I've known some women to sleep with men in 1 year. So talk about women that are this age, 5 to 10 at the max. About 13 or so. We're not even getting like 15 or over. 10 before 30, 15 before 40. Okay. All right. Then 40, it is what it is after 40. Hopefully she's taken after 40, but man. Okay, ladies, we're actually not seeing any number over 15. Any number over 15. Some of y'all have been doing the do since you were 15. That means if you were 35 and you slept with one dude a year, you already get the gross look from these dudes. I'm sorry. I know that's triggering. If you want to share with us that you're a woman that can actually meet those quotas, please feel free to say, pick me in the chat, but I doubt that's going to happen. Sparkle, I see you in the back. I'm going to bring you up shortly. Ladies, please remember, we don't want to talk about your personal experience. We want to talk about if you believe the whole phase in general for society is bad or not. So please feel free to come up. Trigger Mike will protect you. I won't let anybody ask you those questions directly. All right, fellas, please come up if you want to talk about how the bachelor phase is different from the whole phase, or if you feel like, what would you tell your daughter? I also want to know that. But ladies, I believe this is science. If a woman has too many sex partners, she's unable to bond with men. That is actually a scientific fact. It is a biochemical fact. I want to share something with y'all, and something that I have formulated as I, increasingly participate on these panels. I see that women are looking for a substantial bond. What you are looking for in a relationship, that's why you hop from relationship to relationship. You waste your time. You get really upset if a dude isn't willing to form that bond with you. And rightfully, it frustrates you. It pisses you off. But let me tell you something, ladies. That bond that you're looking for isn't found. It's built. I believe that your inability to form that bond may be due to casual sex and the whole phase in general. I know that's going to trigger some people, but I believe that's true. You are unable to bond with the guy, that real dude that you like. I know he's the one. He got all the tangibles and the intangibles. Why can't I just feel that substantial bond? Why don't you go back in your history and ask those 40 dudes you slept with before him? They have the answer. When women procreate, especially in the beginning, when you birth a child, you release a hormone called oxytocin. That is for you to bond through your breast milk with the child. That's why they look up at you, and that bonding that happens in that time. That is the science behind it. You release the same chemical And it's the most intense during the first few times you have intercourse. That's why, fellas, we're not supposed to be out here taking women's virginity. You take a woman's virginity, that's why she thinks she's your wife afterwards. She is now bonded to you. She feels like it anyway. It's biochemistry. You can't help it. All right? They can't help it. It's just what happens. So as you continue to go through sexual partner after sexual partner, you lose that ability to bond. You lose the oxytocin-driven sex drive, and you switch to a male dopamine-driven sex drive. Men are dopamine-driven. That climax we have happens 99% of the time after we have sex. And I believe, and I'm hypothesizing here, but I dare somebody to prove me wrong, I believe the reason most women do not climax during intercourse is because it is more about intimacy for you than it is about sex. But you lost your ability to be intimate due to you giving away your box to too many partners in the past. You think you want sex. What you're really looking for is that same bond you felt the first few times you did it. That's why you let a dude power drive your ass into the wall. And you're like, I'm just trying to achieve it. I'm just trying to achieve it. But it's not there. It whittled away a long time ago. I know it's too late for some of you. I'm not even trying to trigger you here. I'm trying to help us teach our daughters better. Teach our sons better. Even teach them what we do, what a boy can do to these women, where maybe he needs to just keep one instead of having too many. Everybody has a stake in this. All right, so let me bring up Sparkle. Sparkle, cam up real quick so I know it's you, and I'll bring you up. All right, I see you. I see you. What's going on? Marriage, politics, and sports. I saw you in the back. I saw you cam up as well. Good morning. Well, Sparkle, I know it's not morning for you, huh?
No,
What's going on? What's going on? What you got on the topic for us? We'll start with you, Sparkle. So remember, you don't have to share anything personal about your experience, but what are you seeing out here in the society that can make you question if the whole phase is worth it for women or not?
sorry, Mike, I just lost connection. Say that again.
No worries, no worries. I don't want you to speak about your experience.
Okay.
I just want you to talk about if you believe the whole phase is worth it for society in general.
No, I think it's ridiculous. I really do. And something that you said in your opening monologue it made me consider something. I partly agree with what you're saying about the father being in the home.
Mm-hmm.
However, some of the sluttiest women I've ever known had their father in the home.
Mm-hmm. That's fact.
So it makes me think of something that's said in the Bible, not to get biblical on everybody, but the Bible advises that we guard our gates, meaning watch what you listen to, watch what you see.
Yep.
I feel like there's a social contagion. I think for years of women reading Harlequin romance novels, watching things like Sex in the City, listening to these songs that are all about female empowerment and female independence, and I don't need no man. And I think all of this is getting people confused alongside the Disney narrative. On the one hand, you have women who feel like, I have to sleep with him to keep him or to make him interested. But then on the other hand, society's telling women to just be out here, be free, to be loose and to be promiscuous. But all it's doing is damaging women. Every time a woman sleeps with a man, like you say, there's a bond that happens and you can form a soul tie and you get more damaged with each person because you're making connections with each person, and it affects the trust value that women have as well as devalues them in general. I think it's damaging, but I do think that the cause is to do with what they're reading, what they're watching, and what they're listening to, more so than necessarily having a father in the home. I do think having a male figure in the home, be it father, brother, uncle, whatever, can help you. Also, I found having a brother and having cousins around just because you listen to the conversations, you hear how guys talk about women after they've smashed and the kind of things they say when they, you know, when the girls aren't there. And that gives you an education of, oh my, like they go deep out here. They talk about how she smells. They talk about how loose she was, what she was wearing. When you hear those conversations as a woman, that's an education to make you slow down and go, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I know how they sweet talk these girls into the bedroom and so on. But other women are influencing women to have this hoe phase and be out here and be out here doing the hot girl summers and all of that. And I think it's other women that's the issue.
Gotcha. So Peaches, shout out to Peaches. She asked a very good question and something that I should have done at the beginning. She asked, did we define what a hoe is? So we don't want to stray away and have multiple meanings for things. So thank you, Peaches, for that. And I'm going to define it here shortly. Google defines a hoe as a long-handled gardening tool with a thin metal blade used mainly for weeding and breaking up soil. So just in case, so anybody doesn't think we're talking about that, we're going to go to the Urban Dictionary definition because that's what I believe it is. A girl who goes after every guy, says slutty things, doesn't care about anyone but herself and boys, and wears clothes to try to make her look. Damn, I lost it. But yeah, try to make her look more sexy and desirable. And I also believe a hoe is what we're talking about, is a woman that is an active participant in the casual sex culture. That's really what we're talking about here. If you are, I believe that many women that we call hoes or women with extremely high body counts, there is one thing I have noticed about them. They don't like to be shamed for their participation in casual sex. And because they don't like to be shamed for it, they take on this type of arrogance. Y'all hear what I'm talking about? They have like a arrogance to them where they try to match the way men speak. So when you say, well, you want to try something new? I tried that before. It wasn't that great. I've been in that position before. Not my thing. They want to let you know that they can equally match you. They're very egotistical and arrogant about casual sex. They have to be, because they don't want to be shamed. So they have to feel, they got to make themselves feel sexually equal to men. That's what I believe a hoe is. All right. What's going on, marriage, politics, and sports?
How you doing? Hey, listen, I'm gonna carry him up in a second. I just have something I want to read, so it will look awkward if I'm reading it and I'm cammed up. I found this thing. I found this post or YouTube from a lady a year ago, a white woman, talking about third wave feminism and how a lot of Gen Z women are thinking differently about sex positivity. That's what she called it, sex positivity. So she wrote something up and she said, it's real short. She said, we really embraced third world feminism and sex positivity. And it impacted us so negatively, she explained, being told that you should be having sex with people you don't have any relationship with really put it in our minds that sex doesn't matter. I feel like we all kind of got effed over. That's, so this is a white woman coming out, and she did a YouTube on a different channel, and she really went through how sex impacted, casual sex impacted women. Mm-hmm. So kind of the narrative is, I have my own thoughts, and that's what you asked us about. I think the whole phase for a woman is very, very dangerous and damaging. And men don't have a whole phase. And you know what? It's not a double standard, by the way. It's a different standard. Men and women have different standards on sex. And if you tie that to the sexual act itself, the dynamics of sex with a man and a woman are completely different.
Yes, sir. For
a man and for a woman. And what I would like to say is the reason when you talked about the hormones and stuff, I compare women, and women don't like comparisons, but if you think of a woman as a capacitor, something that stores energy, right? When she's having sex with a man, she's taking his energy, all of it. And that energy doesn't dissipate right after the sexual act is over. That's why I used to tell men, if a woman invites you over more than once, you own it. She's telling you that she's got a connection. And so if a woman is just having casual sex over and over and over, she's collected energy from a whole lot of men, and it ain't all going away after the act is over. So capacitors get filled, and in electronics, then you can't put anything else in it, and you have to dissipate that energy somehow. But when a woman has all that energy, the way it manifests itself is kind of like the same way the capacitor is being discharged. And it's different from every woman. You know, there are connections, because she knows herself that half of those encounters, afterwards she probably feels negative. I feel bad about it. I no way I could call that empowerment. This guy is a bum, and I just let him have his way with me just because I wanted to get that fix. So when it comes time to the good man, the one she wants, and she stumbles upon the one she actually wants, and he likes her. That's why a lot of women say, you know what? I'm going to withhold sex from this guy because I don't want to blow it. Right? So she got some arbitrary number of days or weeks or whatever that this guy doesn't get one, because she says, well, afterwards, I don't want him to ghost me. And she doesn't realize that man is no stupid fool. Right? He could feel the fact that she ain't no virgin, and she might have been out there. And you're making me work and spend my resources and time, and I can't hit it, but I might like you. But now it's starting to be a challenge for that guy, right? Because he says, man, she ain't giving me enough, but I know she ain't like that. So when he does get it, there's a lot of women who put a man on an arbitrary time frame, and they found out after she actually gives it to him, he does ghost her, because now it's a challenge, and he's kind of bitter that she made him wait so long. That's what I mean. This is just a scenario. It's not for every woman. So I'm not saying go sleep with the guy the first night or the second night. I'm saying that that's not a measure of whether the guy will stay with you or not, how much you make him go through penance to get sex, especially if you're both, had sex before. So I tell some women that I know, and it sounds kind of crazy. You want the man to get to I hate this kind of term, but I'm going to say it, post-nut clarity. So it's the day after that counts. Is he coming back after you actually had sex with him? And that's when you know you got something. Because you can't, because guys, every man, even good men, I mean, we got to face it, even good men want to knock it out. It's not like a bad man or a good man, good men don't want sex. They do. We all want sex from a woman, that we are interested in, but it's how we cope and how we deal with it after the sex act is over. If I want something more out of that woman, the fact that she gave me sex on the second night or the 9th night, I'm still coming back because there's something about the woman I like. And if it's something about a woman I don't like, it doesn't matter how long or how quick she gives it to me. I'm not really that interested. And here's another thing. I'm going to shut up after this. Women don't really understand that men can have sex with women they don't even like.
Yes.
What I mean? That just drives women crazy. Man, just, we have, men have sex with women they don't have any interest in whatsoever. That doesn't say something good about men, but it's true. Anyway, so the whole phase, in terms of bodies, I always say and I use the word spirit. You got to understand the spirit of your woman. If she's not, most of us are never going to marry a virgin. So if we could accept that our wives, we're not the first, then if it's 100 women, 100 men, that's one thing. But if she had a few experiences, it always comes back. Can she bond with you?
Yep.
And can you tell that bond is sincere? And can you tell that bond can be something that you could build upon? Right? Because then it doesn't really matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter how many bodies she has, but she has a capacity to still bond. And that's the key. Right? Because my wife, with my wife, I never asked her about her body count. Never, ever. I never even came close. One day she was going to tell me, and I told her, listen, I don't want to hear nothing about that. I might have told you this before. I said, whatever you did, I don't want to hear, because I took her from home. She was 26 when we got married, but she went to college. I know what college girls were doing. So I says, I don't want to know any of it. I don't even know what got in her head that she thought she needed to tell me this stuff. I said, listen, I don't want to hear that. I said, but I did tell her this, and this is true. I said, if you learn some shit, though, I better get the benefits of that goddamn stuff. That's what I told her. And then we never talked about that again. And then we just moved on, and we've been married ever since. So I told men, you got to feel what the woman is like. And I told women, you got a nice guy, don't put up arbitrary barriers. You got to see what this guy's like. So on both ends. And if so many guys blow you out, you might not be able to pick up on a man's real spirit.
I mean, that's right. That right there is the most powerful part. And that really, I'm glad it comes from somebody who's been married so long. I think you've seen generations of women and the long-term effects of what it has done for women, or done to women in society. So your perspective is absolutely valuable on this. All right. So everybody in the
before
chat,
you go on, Mike, one more thing real quick. It's not even me saying it. There's enough women coming out now saying the exact same thing. And they might have been through the phase or not. They understand how detrimental it is to some of them, and a lot of them are starting to speak out. And, so it's not just men. It's women starting to understand. All right, that's it.
Yeah. So chat, what's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for coming. If you have not tuned in or you're just getting here, welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Today's topic is, was the whole phase worth it? We got our all-star panel here, our heavy hitters on the panel right now. So be sure to, if you got questions, put them in the chat, anything you would like to know. Also, get those likes up. If you have not hit that like button, get down there, hit that like button, like and subscribe right now. All right. Hit that like button, show your support. You can also, without leaving the stream, share this out to your Instagram, share this out to Facebook. We want y'all to get this word out to the people who need to hear it. So again, welcome. Good morning. What's going on, fellas and lady? All right, Mr. Walker, you're up next. What you got on the topic, sir?
Thanks for having me, brother. Love coming up here. I got to touch on the pair bond deal. I definitely don't think that the whole phase is worth it. Actually, I believe it's most detrimental to any woman to try to go through any whole phase. Me, myself, I take pride, and I know my situation may be anecdotal, but I take pride in not, sleeping with a lot of women. I went to college, I played football, captain of the football team, that whole spiel. But I have slept with less than 10 women. And that's why I was in the chat and I said, I think, around less than 5 men is what a woman looking to be a wife should kind of be lingering around there. You got to, like the brother said, you got to understand that your woman's going to have some experiences before you, nothing to be, insecure about, because insecurity going to kill a relationship. But that pair bonding is huge. You can't be sitting up there trying to give a woman your all, and she's too worried about, ghosts, fallacies of the past. It'll never work. And I think my 10-year marriage going on 11. I think my marriage shows that I'm big on the pair bond. Got to be able to have that intimacy and that vulnerability. But if you carrying around all this hurt and the trauma and that stuff is very real, it's tough to pair bond and really give someone your all.
Damn right. All right, I got a question for the chat before we get CEO DMP's perspective, because Peach has already asked us to define what a hoe is. We did that. Or I'm sorry, what we believe a hoe is. I also want to know, I think we also need to, I think we put it in the chat once. Everyone said, so we got more people here now. Everyone said less than 15. So we didn't get a number over 15. Fellas, how high is too high of a body count? For those of you just arriving who haven't answered the question yet, how high, not even for marriage, just for a woman in general, even if it was your own sister and you were having a conversation and you asked her body count, what would make you go ill? Yuck. Can't believe you did that. Go ahead and put that in the chat. I want to see something real quick. Damn, we still at 10, less than 15. Yo, Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says something very. Women went to college, bro. And that college was, oh man, between 10 and 15. All right, what the funk is this at 50? 50? Okay, yeah. I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to speak on that. I don't even want to listen. There are men walking around here. Most men have not had intercourse in a year and are virgins. Like 30% of men, isn't that what they said, are virgins after age 30? But there's women out here with 50 bodies. Come on, so that's too much. CEO DMP, good morning to you, my man. How you doing?
Good morning, brothers.
All right, what you got on the topic so far?
I mean, really ain't got too deep into it yet, but just to really focus on, like, when anybody argues about that whole phase thing, is really understanding that a man, if he has any type of value or pride for himself, it's just, that's the biggest thing that they got to focus on. Is just, I'm not going to be able to have too much pride in my woman if I'm walking through the mall or I'm walking with her under my arm, and I have to be concerned about the dude over there, the dude over, like, how many people in the community have ran through this female, and it's like, I mean, there's no pride in that. There's no dignity in that. There's like, and then it's like, okay, all these dudes running through it and everything. And what I'm supposed to be the one that's catering to it. I'm supposed to be the one to put a ring on it. I'm supposed to be the one to take care of it for the rest of my life. And all these dudes got to run through it and just move on. But I'm like, they just got to understand the perspective of men when they think about this whole phase. I mean, you might be doing your own thing and enjoying your life and everything, but in the end, you're going to want somebody to value you. And it's just like a new car versus a used car type of thing. When that value just common sense is going to go down if you've been ran through, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, what I think women need to hear, and it's not even so much naturally they're going to get upset by this topic. It is a triggering topic, ladies. We can acknowledge that. But what I think is missing from a lot of ladies' lives that a lot of them don't even want to deal with is that you never had the male perspective on this at all. A lot of women had men absent for their lives, and the only men that they've even had present were the men that were trying to get in their pants. So they were just telling them what they wanted to hear. You have never had most women, modern women, have never had a real opinion and thought from a man who was not trying to sleep with you, who was genuinely trying to preserve you, your virtue, your chastity. And, you know, they'll get upset and now that, you know, they've done too much. But this was what was necessary for a lot of these women that already made these mistakes. All right, so we're going to go around the panel. Y'all know I got questions all day. Let me see which one I got to go with first. I think Sparkle brought this up. So, Sparkle, you're going to go first. Does a woman have soul ties from having too many sexual partners, and how will that negatively affect her?
I think, yeah. Whether she likes to admit it or not, whether she's conscious of it or not, because I'm sure both men and women do this, where you'll always know who your best was or who had the most impact on you. And that's always going to come back to your mind. I mean, I think, you know, to kind of touch on what some of you fellas have mentioned, I think women need to consider themselves the way men consider us. Just like you guys have said, I've seen on many panels that us women are born with our value and you men create yours. Now, things that have value depreciate with use. Like, you know, if you buy a car, the minute you drive it off the lot, it's already lost certain value. Now, the way I think about it is this: women need to treat their box like they treat their home. Meaning, you wouldn't allow anyone to just come and visit your home. Right? You're cautious on who you let come in your house. You're cautious on how much time they can stay, if they can make themselves comfortable, all of that. Whereas men, it's very different. Men can go and visit anyone's house, kick their feet up, have drinks, whatever. It's very different. Like how men and women have sex is different because we're the receivers. You guys can, you know, not to be graphic, but you guys are the penetrators. You can dip in, dip out, and it's all good. We're the ones who have to receive it. And we receive your energy. We receive, if you're a woman that lets a man shoot up your club, you're receiving his DNA, you're receiving his emotional soul ties. It's, you know, you got to treat your box like you treat your home. Why would you let anyone come up in your home and destroy your home and trash the place? To me, that makes no sense at all. Where's your self-respect or self-discipline? Everyone talks about de-discipline, but why can't you have box discipline? Especially these days, a lot of women talk about on these panels how they buy these roses and this and that. If you can handle yourself, why do you need so many visitors to your box?
Damn.
I'm sorry to be graphic, but I don't get it.
Yo, you deserve a BET award, a hip hop award.
You just broke woman code. You sister. You just broke woman code. You got enemy, sister.
You deserve a Grammy. This fire you are spitting right now. Oh my goodness.
You know, the truth is, like I said to you guys the other night, I don't believe in no sister code. Women will stab each other in the front and the back. The way I see it is, no one's going to look after you more than you will look after yourself as a woman, unless you have a man who's put you under his covering. If you're out here as an independent woman, like you like to say, independent people need to move with caution. You need to protect yourself emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually, all of that. And that starts with your box, because for most men, that's the first thing that they want access to. And it's the easiest thing they gain access to, because they know the right things to say. They can finesse, they can wine, they can dine. And so women, in my opinion, need to think like men. Use your logic more than your emotions. Think with your head first.
Boy, I mean, you said the sisterhood ain't gonna like you. They can't argue with you, but they're not gonna like you right now, but they'll get over it. I mean, when I say your perspective is what was missing for so many girls' lives. So we don't even want to talk just about the mamas. Do you not realize that the sisterhood also has culpability in this, because they stay quiet? They just stay quiet and let it happen. These are your daughters, your nieces, your cousins. You knew better. For the women who did preserve themselves or went through the experience, you didn't share your experience. And I think it's because a lot of women have one critical flaw, where they never want to tell the part where they messed up. You want to leave that part out completely. Therefore, you say nothing at all. So Sparkle spitting this fire right now. Like literally, it's some women, it's their first time hearing it this raw. I guarantee it. Some women who have just entered this space, it's their first time hearing it that raw. But thanks to Peaches again, because she said that we need to, when we talk about these things, we need to define them first. So I'm going to follow that teaching. I'm always learning, right? Soul ties are, according to the Urban Dictionary, a spiritual, emotional connection you have to someone after being intimate with them, usually engaging in sexual intercourse, to the point that when you want to be rid of them from your mind and your life, even when you are far away from them and out of their presence, you still feel as they're a part of you and you are a part of them. Good gracious. That's crazy. All right. So let me tell you real quick before we move this question along, why I believe that soul ties are real. I've spent the majority of my professional career in healthcare, nursing and healthcare administration. Okay. All of the biology and anatomy and all this stuff that I've read and I've taught, I've taught at the collegiate level. There is no way a dude is going to pump his life energy into you. Your womb, the area that carries and nurtures a fetus. There's no way a dude is going to shoot your club up with live DNA that has the code of his ancestors on it and that not affect you, not have a biochemical effect on you. There's no way those two areas meet and nothing happens. There's no way that climbing up your walls, you don't get that ancestral type of connection to somebody. You get their trauma, their the bad spirit, their emotion. There's no way that area of your body can biologically do what it does and you not carry DNA from different men and it doesn't affect you emotionally, psychologically, physiologically, none of that. There's no way. You remember, what we know about science is literally a drop in an ocean. What we actually know and can quantify. Every researcher will tell you the same. So, ladies, I need y'all to don't even take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I need you to understand that the science is coming to back up what we're saying. And there's no way you can deny it if you have two eyes. All right, Mr. Walker, you're next. The question is, do women have soul ties from having too many sexual partners? Yeah, I'll just ask the question that way.
Most definitely. You know, without a question. That's where the pair bonding comes into play. You know, you messing around. Here's the thing now. I believe it goes both ways with men and women. I believe that, you know, some men, I believe we've seen it. Some men can get hung up on some women to the point too, you know, but yeah, those soul ties are very real. I believe this whole casual intimacy deal, it just took the spirituality out of it altogether. And you know, the whole act of sex, you ask me, is definitely more spiritual than physical. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother story. But yeah, soul ties are real. They're very much real. And it's something that we ignore. You know, I think it was you said earlier when you was monologuing, you know, said, you know, why has America let God go? You know, was that you? You know, why has America let God go? And it's like we took God out of the schools, we took him out of our homes, and we're seeing the effects of it. It's not all physical. You know, our fight for the most part lies in the spiritual realm, and that's just something we seem to be blind to. And with the act of sex and the whole pushing of the whole cosmopolitan, you know, generation era, there's a huge the disconnect is so detrimental. It really doesn't seem like there's any chance for recourse. You muted, brother.
Thanks for that. Let me bring this up real quick. See Through You says a soul tie is an intense spiritual connection between two people that results in a mutual learning experience. Soul ties are formed many different ways. Sex is just one, and it's not gender specific. I thought that was a very good addition to what we were saying. And I think too, that might be the next question, but we'll ask about the men. So let's continue on the women, and then we'll go around and see if the same thing applies to men.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, this is Kelly Combos. I don't know if I'm next, but I have something to add to the soul tie.
Oh my, I was like, who is this talking?
Sorry.
All right, you know what? We're gonna add. Go ahead. We're gonna get to you right now.
Now?
Right now. Let's go.
Okay. So I wanted to add, I was raised by both my parents, my mother and father, growing up, and I'm one of 4 daughters. So my dad had the sex conversation with us when we were very young. I'm talking like we were like 5, 6, and 7. And he wanted to explain the importance of sex to us. So we didn't just go have it like haphazardly and like just give it out like it was nothing. So we understood how valuable it was and the importance of it and the importance of sex. He told us was when a man and a woman form a covenant, and that's in a marriage. So people don't realize that the consummation of a marriage is forming a covenant. So you have sex, and a lot of people don't realize that. As he was also a pastor, so he studied the Bible within the Greek, and he said there's no scientific reason for the hymen, but in the days of old, when you form a covenant, there had to be the shedding of blood. So that's the purpose of the hymen. It is to consummate the marriage and form that covenant between that man and that woman. So he said men are out here stealing covenants when they take women's virginities and they're not marrying them. He said, so he used to call them covenant stealers. So he explained to us, you don't just make a covenant. You don't form a covenant with everyone. And yes, you can form a soul tie. Well, I don't know who you just brought up, but soul ties, you can be formed with more than just sex. But it's extremely, extremely, extremely important not to form soul ties with just anyone. Just being intimate in conversation with someone that you shouldn't be talking to can form a soul tie that you have to go in and break. And it takes prayer. I've had to break a soul tie between an ex of mine because you can't get over it so simply because you have connected with them in multiple ways and you don't even know like how deep it is until you go into and try to break it. Like it's a spiritual thing. It's a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. It's everything. Your soul is your mind, will, and emotion. So you're connected in multiple ways with a person, and people are just out here just doing this frivolously. Like they don't even think, they don't even know what they're doing. But obviously the way the world's going, we're seeing the effects of it now. That's all I have.
Damn. So
Straight
Sparkle, I
facts,
think she's
Kelly.
coming for your Grammy. We got another nominee.
She's spitting facts, but I think it's because people are too busy moving carnally. Everything is physical. Everybody, again, staying on the biblical front, everyone's in their flesh. They just want that, everyone's chasing the big O, and they're not thinking about the emotional and the mental connections that they're making with people. Just like Kelly said, through conversation, through just getting to know people, you let people into who you are, and that can have an effect on you. And the thing is, women, because we are naturally emotional and we do talk, a lot of the time we over talk, people can get in that way. So that's why I was saying, we need to guard ourselves. We need to guard the box. We need to guard our spirit. We need to protect ourselves, because we're the ones losing out when we act loose. Men are gonna, just like you men say, you slot women. You know who the wifey material is. You know who the 304 bust down material is. You know who the placeholder for now kind of chick is. So we need to, if we want to be picked, those that aren't married yet, you need to be cognizant of how men think. And so if you don't have any men in your life that's a father or whatever, hang around your cousins, hang around your brothers, make male friends of your family members, so you can really get the male perspective. Because the people, like, the men in your life who already know and love you, who don't need or won't or have no need to try and run game on you, they're not going to lie. They're going to give it to you raw.
Yeah. So Kelly, you also made a very good point that I want to touch on real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because not only are women moving carnally, as Sparkle said, dads have such an important role to play. And whenever we talk about dads, because Sparkle, you said some of the greatest hoes come from two-parent households. Yeah, but when you extrapolate it out to an entire population, girls with good fathers do way better than girls without fathers.
Amen.
And then there's another group. This is why I wanted to speak on what Kelly said. Everybody that had a father didn't have a good one either. So it's like we had fathers, we had excellent fathers, like the way somebody else was saying, but we also have a group of men that were ineffective. They just worked too much. They just, brought home the bacon and didn't talk or converse with their kids and all of that. So that needs to be spoken for as well. But let me get to these super chats real quick. And then we'll move on. All right. So Willie Walker, welcome to the Green Gang. Appreciate you, homie. Clement Gray, $5, my man. Gen 3:16 and Proverbs 7:6, verse 27. Women unwilling to do, Jen, more than likely become proverbs. Fellows act accordingly. God's word is real, hell as well. I think I've recently become more aware of what the Proverbs woman is. I think some of y'all know that woman is like, oh, she stole the virtue of many. I don't expect me to quote scripture correct. But yeah, that woman is basically a harlot. She's going to corrupt your home. She will steal the, many men, all that type of stuff. So I'm well versed in the Proverbs woman, and I don't want any woman I know.
Are you talking about the hoe, or the one you're supposed to stay away from, or the one
the
that
hoe? Stay away from the hoe.
Proverbs 31. Okay. Yeah. But like the woman that comes to you in the night and like, yeah, my dad said that.
Yep. Got you. See through you. I wanted to highlight this comment. Trigger Mike, will you consider a boyfriend and girlfriend having sex a part of the casual sex culture? Ooh, I don't know. We're gonna bring that question back up. That's something debatable.
Yes.
Debate. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna debate on that. Peaches says, Trigger Mike, why does it seem like modern women are discouraged from waiting to have sex with a man? just because she's not a virgin? Another debatable question. We're going to get to that. Clement Gray, $5. Revelations 2:18 describes who these women truly are. And fellows, when you lay with, this is your judgment. Remember, you become one with them when you do. That's facts. Mr. Walker just said it. Men got soul ties too. Clement Gray, $5. Trigger Mike, how many people know about spirit spouses, incubus, and succubus spirits? How many of their pastors preach about this in service? Sir, I'm going to tell you what. I have never heard a pastor speak about this. It is only through like TV that I even heard about succubus spirits before.
That's why the Bible says to study to show yourself approved, because you can't expect
all right, listen,
everyone to tell you.
I'm going to tell you right now, even through my own struggles and struggles with my faith, the reason I believe in God is because he shows me he's real every time I try not to believe in him. I made a joke about something happening with my son running out naked from the bath. I made a joke about, boy, put that away before a spirit comes and touches it. Do you know this boy woke up in the middle of the night hollering? And we didn't know why? I never made a joke about a succubus spirit like that again, ever in life. Like I said, you don't got to believe me, but every time I try not to believe, this stuff shows it is real. We were like, what is going on with him? And he's sitting there like looking back. Like, I was like, I'm not joking about this stuff no more. Instant prayer after that. All right, appreciate those super chats. Remember, y'all, keep them coming if you want to get your comments highlighted. We appreciate the support. Again, like and subscribe if you have not. Share this out. Share this stuff out if you have not. Oh, I agree here. Wife School says children can see spirits. Yes, because if you look at what the hell they looking at half the time, they're looking at something, but we can't see it. I believe that wholeheartedly. So who's up next? I believe it's Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports. The question on the table right now, sir, does a woman have soul ties from having too many sexual partners?
Yeah, sure. And I can agree with that. You know, it happens. Just like I said, that if you're having casual sex with a woman and she asks you to come back, she's telling you she has a tie with you is growing. So every time I see a guy tell me, yeah, I hit this girl, blah, 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 it's just casual. Yeah, she wants me to come back this weekend. I said, don't you know, man, you go back once or twice, you own it. She's catching some feelings. But let's get to the man's part of this thing. Men also, the brother also said men catch feelings, but it manifests a little differently for us. I mean, we heard of the term, P-whipped, that's part of it. But also men who are looking for relationships, if they had too many sexual partners, they were lucky enough to just be stroking women all over the place. They run at the first sign of trouble, even in good relationships. They have trouble sticking around, to get past that wall or that whatever that conflict is, because they don't have to. So that's how I think that happens with men. I had a buddy of mine. I mean, he was knocking the women out 2-3 times, 2 or 3 a day. And he had so much trouble with any serious relationships. I mean, now he's more religious and stuff, and he's been married for the last 20 years or whatever. But it took him a while before he calmed down, and been able to really manifest a real good relationship with a woman. So it came in my mind that, having a lot of casual sex for men is also detrimental. We're not immune to the adverse effects of it. So we have soul ties on both ends. It can't just be the woman. I mean, we all who have women, we know we have a bond with them. So it works on, it works on both of us.
That are not satisfiable.
Say that again?
Men like that are not satisfiable. It takes like a long time for
them.
It
takes some extra maturity on their part, right? Some of them, this brother actually calmed down, but women still approach him, but he's been able to, calm that down in his life. I think he became a pastor. Anyway, so so I don't want to change the subject, but about relationships, casual relationships, if there's no intent there, then they're really just situational ships. Right? If you have a relationship, that's what, that's just what I wanted to say. You made that question, Trigger Mike, about, can a relationship be serious? I mean, it could be serious, but where's it going? And for women, it's detrimental. I don't want to change it too much. A man will waste a woman's time. Okay, she's on a clock, but a man could be in a relationship with a woman that's casual or whatever for 10 years, and then find a woman he wants, and then dumps her or leaves her for what he wants, and all of her useful years are past. Maybe there's a baby or two. So women have to be careful about men wasting their time, especially in their 20s. You know, because so that's another story for another day. But that's something that's out there.
It's really easy to not let a guy waste your time. You just have to be okay with giving an ultimatum. But most women don't want to do that.
It's really easy when you leave sex out of it too. You got to understand that.
Anyways, I don't know if I answered your question about but the soul ties is the easy question. I think the answer is yes.
I think you answered it, previously as well.
Yeah.
All right, my man, CEO DMP. Do women develop soul ties from having too many sexual partners?
I believe so, but to understand what that soul tie looks like, to describe it, for instance, I would say for majority of my life, I have had casual sex with women, and I haven't felt any type of effects on me after separation. Last relationship I was in is the first time I ever even experienced this type of thing where you can be with a woman and be intimate with a woman and then develop something to where you can feel her presence. You know what she's thinking. There's even been times where I've been thinking to call her and then won't call, but then thinking to call. And as soon as I go grab the phone to call, she's on the other line or she's on the other side. Like she's either calling me or she had just got, like at the very same time, even though I think about calling her all day and voted against it, at that very moment that I decided to go ahead and call, she was thinking the same thing. She was dialing at the same time and stuff. So it's like, is that a soul tie? You know what I'm saying? It's like, when you guys say soul tie, how does that manifest? What does a soul tie look like? Is it if she's upset, I get upset and don't even know why? Like, what do you mean by soul tie?
I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. So for men, we're going to switch it around to the men really quick because, ladies, I want to know. I mean, we don't really talk about this because it is very debatable as to whether men have a Heaux phase or not. All right. It just is what it is. It's more so known as being a bachelor. That's what we're supposed to do. If you're being honest, the world look at it that way. So if you want to be honest with it, throughout the world, men favor the preserved woman, a woman who has preserved herself. Throughout the world, women favor men with sexual experience. Literally, you get horny for dudes who just other women want. And you know that if women want him that much, he's going to partake. All right, he gonna dibble. I'm just getting a little taste. I see all the chicken wings here, but I just want to taste from this table. He's gonna taste. All right. If that many women want him, that much is sure. But ladies, put it in the chat. And from the two ladies here, I want them to go first. What will make you say ew if you found out a man's body count? What number is too high for you? Put it in the chat. Ladies, you get a chance to talk now. What number is too high for you? Kelly, we're going to start with you. And by the way, we're not going to lie. If you really want to know, we're not going to lie. Y'all going to lie. We're not going to lie. So don't ask that question if you don't want to know. Kelly, you there?
The question is, what number would make me say ew?
How many is too many for you if a man was to tell you his body count? What would you be like, ew, did I marry a promiscuous man?
So I have a story. Can I tell my story?
Absolutely. Like you got us all hanging on. I'm hanging on by it. Like, go ahead.
Oh, was that to me?
No. That was to Kelly. Kelly, tell your story.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My brother and I actually had this conversation, and I know that it is it's okay for men to sleep around according to the world, but I was actually introduced to this world. This is not the world I grew up in. I was a pastor's kid and I was very sheltered. I even went to a Christian university. So the people I grew up around, the people I hung around were Christians in church, and I went to Christian conferences and youth events. So this disgusting world of men sleeping with everyone, was unbeknownst to me. So when I found out that men have counts like 100 and 1,000, it made my skin crawl. That it is disgusting, because my friends and godbrothers and my brother, they were getting married as virgins. So that's like what I knew was the right thing to do. They were courting. They were waiting. My godbrother waited to kiss his wife on the day of their wedding. So that's the kind of people I grew up around. So I thought, this is what you're supposed to do. So when I found out that guys were busting down chicks, and like, I heard about these guys, I thought they were just like the captain of the football team and stuff. I didn't know that this was like a reality outside of my world. So it was very shocking. So I would say, knowing that a guy put his unprotected penis in over 20 women would make my skin crawl. Yes. For me.
That's actually a very... Go ahead.
Go ahead. Now, if I didn't know, I just don't know. But like, if he told me, I would just be like, oh, don't touch me. Just step away. Just give me a moment. I need to process. That's how I was
gonna say that's a very fair distinction, because you said unprotected. So that's a fair distinction. If a woman wants to be grossed out, that a dude would be like, yeah, I got 100 bodies. I hit about 25 of them raw. Like, I think a woman would be like, okay, we're going to the clinic right now. So like, that, you got a point, because you used the word unprotected.
STD, like, do you not have these thoughts? You're like, you know what? She look good. I'm just going to do it. You like to hell or whatever the consequence. Like, you don't think about that. Like, sorry.
Yo, so that's good. That's awareness. That sister has awareness, because the womb is a warm body. I mean, it's a warm, dark place. Stuff just lives in there. You know, you got to make sure you protect that. So many women don't understand that vessel and how delicate it really is to germs and all kinds of stuff. So
nice.
Anyway, cut in, but that's one thing. You got to be aware. And too many women are not aware how they need to protect that.
And not only do women need to protect it, do you not even realize, this is scientific, by the way, please look it up. Women are actually the harbinger, like they're the ones that carry the STDs, because men have really small urethras. Really small urethra. It's hard for us to get infected with most STDs. So it'll live around, that area, but then you can wash it away. So when you insert that life energy into a woman, you're actually making her a receptacle for the STD.
Exactly.
So that's how sensitive that area is. So yeah, ladies, if you want a safe society, close it up. I'll just say you know it goes both ways, but still.
Somebody
let me highlight this comment. Let me highlight this comment. Faith says, men having 1,000 bodies, I find hard to believe for a normal man. That's an extreme. It's absolutely an extreme.
So I do know someone that's in the 1,000 club.
I was gonna say I do know someone that's there, but remember, we're already dealing with a society where all women want 20% of men. So in that 20% of men that are not only really good looking, but are super fly, have the resources, like we're talking about black women, right? We all are in the black community. We know the type of man women usually go for. Those dudes, I know some dudes with 1,000. I'm gonna tell you right now, a dude like me, let's say, or frat boy, college, all of that. The boys, I know my boys, definitely in the hundreds. It's and this is post once you were getting ass before you got in the frat, and then after you cross. It got really bad. So I would say, let me ask this question too.
Wait, I have another story. My grandfather was in the 1,000 club.
Wasn't what?
He was in the 1,000 club. He told my father, he passed away now, but he told my father that he would bring 3 women home a night. After he got off from work, he would go to the bar, pick up a girl like around 5:30, bring her home, smash her, go back to the bar, pick up another girl at 8, bring her home, smash her, go back around like 11 or 12. And that girl he would spend the night with. So he was smashing 3 chicks a night for a long time. Like they said,
Grandpapa was a Rolling Stone. Yeah. That's where that song come from.
Yeah, my dad was like, if I didn't meet Christ, I could have been like that. So they said he was at the clinic every single week, and they were like, If you don't slow down, you're going to die early. You need to find you a nice girl and settle down and stop sleeping around. And that's when he met my grandmother, but he was out there, my grandfather. So
damn, he was out there like that. So, I want to know in the chat, let me know what you think the average man who can get women, not these, people y'all call incel virgins or whatever. The average man, how many bodies do you think he has? Not how many bodies you think is gross. How many bodies do you think the average man that can get women has? I'm curious to know.
That depends. Does he have swag or is he corny?
I said can get bodies. So we got to stop with that corny.
Well, the average man who's not an incel, the average guy.
There are a lot of corny dudes out here slaying women. I don't know where people act like corny dudes don't have because look, women, especially a man who's willing to date outside like a black woman or a black dude, because corny is funny to white women. Like they'll be laughing at jokes that black women think is whack. Just to let y'all know.
But corny dudes have to like pay for it, beg for it. There are some guys where girls will just.
So I know corny black dudes that because I'm from where I'm from. There's only really black, white, and Filipino people are the huge group of people, and black dudes and those Filipino girls be laughing, slaying all of them. Boy, every black girl to think they whack is another Filipino girl to think he's the shit. So I was about to say, corny men be out. They might not be getting black girls. They gonna mess with somebody.
See, I'm still thinking about your initial question about what would gross me out.
Yeah, let me know. What will gross you out? What number?
Okay. I'm with Kelly on the fact that the whole unprotected thing takes it to another level. But okay. Going off of my standard, I would say any more than 20 is just no. That's just nasty. However, to be realistic about it, because it is different for guys, and it is a man's nature to want to spread his situation. I'm thinking about it from a slightly different angle, because the way people talk about sex these days is people are real freaky with some of the stuff that they will do and play around with. And the way I look on it, the more adventurous a guy is expecting a woman to be, I would assume he's had more partners, because where's he learning all this from? Like, I don't believe every guy is addicted to porn and watching corn. I would think if a guy really expects you to go crazy and do madness, swinging off the chandeliers and wearing crazy outfits and role playing in mad ways or whatever it might be, that he's been around a lot of women. So yeah, but I think 20 or more, even though that's probably unrealistic, because a lot of the guys that I've spoke to, friends and so on, they tell me it's more like 35, 40 that they've been with. Yeah. But I don't know if they're just trying to exaggerate for the purpose of ego. Because a lot of guys I find happen to be relationship men. So they'll be in long-term situations, but they might, in between girls, have a bit of a hoe phase, if there is such a thing for a guy.
So this can I
go ahead.
Yeah, this is easily explainable, sis, because like 20 is high school, right? Because that's when it really, really kick in for guys to start like really trying to chase girls. And the thing about it is that in the beginning, for the average guy, again, we're talking about average, right? So in the beginning, for the average guy, and by average, I just mean numerically, the average guy is getting way more no's than he gets yeses, right? So because of that, it becomes like a game. It becomes like a challenge. Then it becomes a career. Then don't go into your 20s and you're still single. You going to the clubs, you hanging out, you at the parks. Back in the day, we had stuff like Freakniks. You know what I'm saying? We had all kind of functions that was literally set up for people to meet and, go back to wherever with each other, whether that was the backseat of vehicles, whether that was cars. I remember Biggie said, when I used to play between your legs, you hate where we head back to your mother's bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what's going on. Specifically, I'm speaking about inner cities, places like Chicago, New York. I can't really speak for the country that much, but I would just assume it's the same, right? So when you think about the numbers and you hear 30 or 40 and you think that's somebody playing in their ego bag, trust me, that's not. 30 or 40 is very mild, right? You're not in a relationship and you're talking 12 months out of the year. You think a man doesn't want to get laid at least once a month, right? When you're not in a relationship, that means the women won't be as consistent. Shirley might not be available. Keisha might not be available. Tamika might not be available. We used to have Rolodexes, cell phones, little black books that we carry with all the females' names and numbers and they're listed in there and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a very small number.
I mean, I see your point, because I think if a woman is in the double figures, men, by and large, over history, have always been the one to come and pursue the woman. So it's going to make her look easy. However, in 2023, the way a lot of the modern women are, it's easier for women probably than men. I would imagine there's more OnlyFans subscriptions to women's pages than men. And I would imagine that if any woman walked into a bar and said, you know what, I'm in the mood, who wants it? Somebody's going to put their hand up and go, okay, I'll do it. But if a guy did that, women are going to be like, like, what kind of creep is this? Like, I think it's definitely easier for women. But I think, I mean, it's just a weird, like I said, for me, 20 is high, but for most women, I think they'd expect 50 and above to be normal for guys. But that's why I would have to agree with Kelly's unprotected sex distinction.
Let me also tell you
that does throw it into a whole nother level of okay or disgusting.
Are you guys trying to give out your number on the panel?
If the average guy had 50 girls, there'll be jubilation around the world. The average guy is nowhere near that much in terms of sexual partners. You're talking about above average dudes. Matter of fact, a handsome guy couldn't even compete with a woman on a sexual rampage, just like you said.
Yeah, let me tell you, not only is this is actually provable by what is reported. There is this kid on Facebook. He's on YouTube too, but he's really popular on Facebook that just stands in the street and asks young girls what their body count is, and they'll say it. He even asks couples, and he says say it at the same time. The woman 99% of the time got more bodies than the dude. So we like even that type of raw study, like right, if we want to call it a study or an experiment, the dude is usually looking like, are you serious? Did you just say that out loud? Because the average guy can't get sex. Women are going after the same type of guy. That guy likely has 100 or plus bodies.
See, that's where I think feminism has probably screwed with us women, especially modern women, because I come from the generation of, if you can count your partners on one hand or maximum both hands throughout your whole lifespan, that's acceptable. The minute you run out of fingers to count them on, you've gone way too far. I come from that kind of teaching, and that was long before I got into my faith and all the rest of it. So, but I think these days, I don't know, I think women are taking notches on the bedpost, almost like something to brag about, the way some guys do, and it's weird to me. I just don't understand why you brag and say, oh yeah, I've had all the, but to be fair, this is why when guys say that they think women lie about their body count and they triple it, I don't think they do lie about it, to be fair. I really don't. I in my experience, girls who are hoes, they don't try and cover it. They're pretty honest with how much of a hoe they are.
No,
so,
I would disagree with that, because
I would disagree with that as well.
Yeah,
I think among your friend group, maybe
I was gonna say it depends on who's asking you.
Interested in, like, oh, I maybe want to marry this gentleman, but I think they'll tell their friends. Because I had a girl, she was like, yeah, I met a guy and I lost virginity and we dated for 4 years, but after we broke up, she said, I was in my phase, and she said within 1 year she had 30 bodies. She went from one.
They'll tell you how many they've been with, but it'll be non-verbal.
Yeah, possibly.
It'll be like how experienced she is, how quick she give it up. She'll tell you in a certain way. It just might
there you go.
Yeah,
I think Kelly's right. I mean, someone I knew back in my teens.
That's a great point, bro.
She horrified me because I knew her parents. I knew how she was raised. She had both parents in the house, and she slept with like 19 guys in a 6-month period. I was like, oh my gosh, like we're not even 20 yet. Like crikey, that
exactly.
Not good.
I was just on a panel with a young lady. She was 28, and they asked the body count, and she said 58. Now, at 28, so that means that your car has been out of warranty for at least 15 years, 16 years. That's a lot of miles at 28 years old. To have nearly 60 bodies at 28 years old, ma'am, you don't take any breaks. And she had 3 kids, 3 baby daddies at that.
But I don't think people value their bodies. I think they'll value their car more than they will their body. If you get a brand new Ferrari, you're not just going to let everybody hop in it and eat and do what they want and drop food. You're going to be like, yeah, no, sorry. It's my Ferrari. I just bought it. It's clean. You can't get in it.
But I don't think
it's your body. Like,
I don't think it's I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair for a man. I don't think it's fair for a woman to want a man that's got, that's what they want: 6 foot tall, abs, 6-pack, whatever, 12-inch penis. I don't think you should even recommend a 12-inch penis when you can drive an 18-wheeler inside of you and turn around and not hit a wall.
No, you can
because now you're looking for something to fit that thing after you've worn it out. If an 18-wheeler can drive in there and do a U-turn and not hit anything, you're requesting a 12-inch penis to fill that void. And you may need to find you someone else. You need to go find you one of these guys that do these ORN, I ain't gonna say the word, these ORN videos, and get you one of those guys. But a lot of guys out here don't feel bad that you're dealing with a woman. If you throw a hot dog, you just like throwing a hot dog in a hole.
Do people not know like feminine biology? Like the average woman is only 6 inches on the inside.
All right, so let me grab control back real quick, because I think one of the most important distinctions we can make on this topic is what exactly do men feel when we have casual sex. So we're going to make the distinction of how it's different, what we experience that's different. So I'll start. Ladies, yes, men can have soul ties, but I believe that when men, it didn't matter how many women I've slept with in my life. Mm-hmm. When I bed a woman, or when in the past when I have, I felt energized. I felt like the king of the freaking jungle. All right, I leave that room. What is that? The thing they doing now on Instagram with Umbaku, yeah. That's how I feel every single time.
Stupid.
I do not feel like anyone took anything from me. In fact, I feel like I got the better part of the deal, because guess what? We climax every single time, or damn near, if you like her like that, right? So that is how men feel. We are energized by our interaction in that way with women. Okay? And I just want to pass it around. Let's go around to the fellas first, then we'll flip it on the women to say, not how you feel. We don't want to get into your personal experience, but how you feel women feel after they've had too many partners. All right, so Mr. Walker, if you don't feel like sharing in general, just, personal, let us know what you think in general, how men feel after casual sex.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. You guys, feel like, they got a notch on their belt, they conquer something. And me, I'm kind of weird. Never really had casual sex. Like I said, I could count my sexual partners on 2 hands. I always had an understanding. I've always been very spiritual. I've always had an understanding that, that sexual partners is not just physical. So I really don't know. And like the one sister said, depends on, using protection. Before I was married, I was not a fan of protection. So that's why my counsel, back in college, they made fun of me. I didn't believe in condoms and that like that. And that the fear of catching STDs and stuff kept my count low. But casual sex was just always a no for me. Never could get into it. Then no.
You know why your perspective is so valid? Women swear you don't exist. They swear you're a unicorn.
I know. Ask my wife. I know unicorn. Like you said, it takes you got to build up to this and get that kind of intimacy and this kind of vulnerability from a man. But yeah, any chance I get, I let him know. No, you got some, what I'm saying, decent looking. Not saying I'm nobody's eaters out, but you got some big handsome guys that ain't hoes out here. That's the stigma that I'm going to change with my kids and everything. No, every good looking brother, everybody ain't that what's his name? Jackson, the brother be on there panting all the time. I forget his name. Derek Jackson. Yeah. Yeah. We all ain't Derek Jacksons out here. Yeah, scratch that. But I ain't got too much to say on the casual thing because I've always actually shunned it. Like I said, I was captain of the football team and I used to get made fun of for, they're like, Willie, what you doing? I'm like, just not my thing. And I've always had relationships. I've always been in relationships. And I believe one brother on here said it before, all my exes are married. So that was just my path, just a different path, different perspective.
Bro, you were captain of the football team. You know how much ass you had to pass up?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Damn.
I won a trophy, by the way.
He's very aware of it, Trigger Mike.
Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports. How do you feel men in general? In fact, we can even tell about personal experiences from our past, or we can talk about just the general sense of how men usually feel after intercourse with,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I lost my virginity when I was 17, but I was back in the 70s or way back when women knew how to say no. I mean, I had to light, campfires and burn insects to try to get laid, man. So, but I was a relationship guy as well. My first girl, she lived on the block and we hung out and she kind of introduced me to whatchamacallit, and when I went to college, one of the first things I was thinking about is how I'm going to get laid. I mean, I might go to a class or two, but that's what I was really thinking about. And, so it wasn't that easy for me. I had to have some kind of game because, I was wearing Coke bottle glasses, before contact lenses, so women were like, checking for me, man. I had to, I don't know. When I start looking at my numbers, and I don't need to say it, I say to myself, I said, man, I did pretty well. Man, I'm saying I did okay. Because I don't know, but I had to have some kind of game. And some women, I mean, it might have been my personality, but when I got some contact lenses, man, forget about it, man. I said, man, I was like all up into women's face and everything, all my shyness went away and I had lost one. And I'm just going to divert. My frat brother told me, he says, man, I'm so happy you lost that contact lens. Because I had to go back on my glasses. He said, man, you were unbearable. I didn't want to even be around you. That's how much my ego just got boosted. But I was in a lot of relationships myself. But when I left school and, had my job, by the time I was like 27, 28, I was just looking for a woman that I could hold hands with in public. No down low, somebody I could just, talk to and say, this is my girl, this is what, and that's when I met my wife, and that was a spiritual thing because her and her friend were having a party and I almost forgot the party. But something in the back of my head said, I'm missing something. I said, oh, it's a party tonight. And so I went over to the party and she was there and was her friend, and like 18 dudes. And I said to her, I said, she kept walking past me. And I said, well, listen, are you here with somebody or can I get a shot? I ain't never said that to a woman before. But getting back on the point, with casual sex for me, all releases are not the same. When you get a new notch in your belt, it feels particularly good, right? If you're going to stick around, then it becomes kind of routine. But, after a while, you just want to be able to have somebody to call your own. So I was always kind of a relationship guy. This girl, one girl at a time. I mean, I stepped out a couple of times when, I was a frat brother. I was, and running, I was, the cues, man. It was
I
hard not
know.
to get.
Oh, you're a Q dog?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they call
You
us
was around
Omega
here
men
biting
now.
booties. That's what you was. You were biting booties. We know you.
They call us Omega men now, But anyhow, so I don't know. You just kind of go through the sex, and it's like something you just have to do when you're single, or else. But I admire the guys. I never tease guys who didn't get a lot, because I wasn't like no world beater. But I just always kind of was able to get some, So I don't know. I don't take any great pride in that. And like I said, I've been married for 35 years, so the number went down to 1. For the rest for a long time, a lifetime, just 1.
You brought up something very important to note. I don't think women realize that a lot of men leave the game at their prime, and it's not really something that you can tell a woman, but it's like, yo, when I decided to just give the game up, lady, this beard just grew in fully. I had a lot more. I had a lot more ass to get out here, and I gave that up for you. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think a lot of women realize that a dude deciding to take himself out the game at that age, at 28, going into 30, you just now found a way to get your resources, got your little apartment, you got your car. You see these dudes out here. The funny thing is, black men set themselves up in very specific ways because we all do the same things. You see them, they went from that little hoopty, they got their first Dodge Charger or something. they get that one little car, and it's like they start upgrading the way they dress, and their haircut fresh every 2 weeks instead of when dudes choosing to leave the game at that time, we got to give them some applause. It's very hard, not an easy thing to do. All right, CEO DMP, tell us a little bit about what you think happens with men in their casual sex experience. Does it drain them, or do they get energized from it?
I believe it's probably both, just personal experience. That sometimes afterwards I'm drained and it knocks me out, and there's sometimes where it energizes me. I want to get right back to work. So I mean, I would think afterwards it kind of relaxes you, but energizes you at the same. Like I said, I'd experienced both sides, so I can't say which one it is. But another thing I wanted to say is I had a unique experience where I don't know if it was pride or ego, but when I came up, just the type of person I was competitive against dudes. And it's like you talk about how the women, they all want the same percentage of men. Well, like for me, it was like, I'm not hitting nothing. I know a dude who hit it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sleeping with. I'm not like, if my boy tell me, oh, I messed with her, that's the very reason I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to dip in the same circles with other dudes. You know what I'm saying? I don't even like to mess with females that I even can envision them being with somebody, because that's just how I am. I guess you would call it like a germaphobe. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of things about me like compulsive OCD or whatever. There's things about me that's just different. Like, and I have access to women. I have way too much access to women, and I turn down a lot. But it's simply because, like, I'm gonna say this just directly so I can just say it clearly. I think they nasty, man. I that's kind of weird sounding, but I just think they nasty. You know,
it's not that weird. It's not that weird. And you brought up a very good point to where, ladies, we got to get something straight in society in general. We usually make promiscuity or having a lot of sex partners about the men in general. You also got to realize that men get approached by women and propositioned by women in this day and age so much that you said you used the word nasty. I always thought that was nasty. I like being the hunter, and I've always had a good head on my shoulders to where I'm realistic to be like, I'm not special. I may be cute, but I'm not Tay Diggs. What the hell you throwing it at me?
Like,
if you did this to me,
a woman and she didn't gave it up.
Exactly.
Like
if you did this to me, how many dudes you did this to this week or this month? I'm not special. So when a woman's like literally trying to put it on my sideburns, right. I'm like, yo, right. I'm supposed to be pursuing you. Like, what's wrong with you? Ew. So, men do think like that, ladies, just so y'all know. A lot of women out here, because we get it. I've seen a lot of panels where they're like, women are horny too. We know. All right. Little podcast, you still there? Yeah. What do you think about men and what are your thoughts on men and their casual sex experience?
Bro, women are amazing. Like physically. I don't think there is anything in the world comparable to having sex with a woman. That don't mean every woman, but I'm just saying, when I think about all that women have to do to satisfy men, it just makes me want to applaud them. And I always appreciated the women who had sex with me. Now, of course, everybody had a couple of booger sugars, a couple of booger wolves that you don't want nobody to know about. But I mean, for multiple reasons, bro. Like, I had chicks that paid me, gave me money, bought me cars, bought me clothes, this and that for the sex. That changes it. You know what I'm saying? It makes you value it a little bit different. And then when you do realize that not all men are capable of getting laid, and not all men, not even just not capable of getting laid, because any man really, if you got $50, can go pay for something. But just getting it off of you, getting it because you cute, getting it because you could dance, getting it because you could rap, you could hoop, getting it because you bow-legged, getting it because you dark-skinned, getting it because you got long hair, getting it because your fade crispy. Women have literally approached me and was just like, you just so bow-legged. And then 30 minutes later, it's on and popping. Just because I'm bow-legged? So when you know that it's not a lot of guys that get that kind of attention, if you don't appreciate it, to me, it's something wrong with you, right? Then if you've ever, and I always use this example, if you've ever been to a jacuzzi room, right? And you laying on the bed and you see the girl get out the jacuzzi tub and the water and the bubbles is just flowing down her body as she's stepping out, and her feet look good, she thick, I mean,
are you doing a commercial, nigga?
I'm just saying, like,
a romance novel over there.
He's trying to paint the picture.
Yeah, it's like, bro, if you've ever, and I've been with at least 4 Puerto Rican women in my life. If you've ever been with a Puerto Rican woman, bro, I mean, there's no way you could hate women, you know what I'm saying, or not just realize how amazing it is to be with them, even if it's just casually. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was a billionaire, bro, do you know how many thousandaire chicks it would be in the world? You know what I'm saying? I would just be dropping thousands. Like, all the girls would just be on Instagram taking pictures of the $1,000 bills I left on their bed, right? Because they'd be like, this shit is crazy, because women are amazing. So I just want to shout out women for having casual sex with men. I want to shout out the whores. Like, and I know it sounds like I'm being facetious, but I'm not, bro. Like,
you the problem, bro. You the problem.
Look, this is what I'm saying. If all of us that have been married before, right? I got married when I was 19, right? Okay. No man will come on any of these panels and say I married a whore, right? But we all know we slept with a bunch of women who we considered whores. And then we'll brag about those conquerors, right? So if it was something for you to sleep with those women, then that means those whores do carry some sort of value. And you have to respect and appreciate that. So shout out to whores, shout out to casual sex, and shout out to Black women and Puerto Rican women in particular.
Well, absolutely not. Or live.
Absolutely not.
Did you just say
where the remove button? Where the remove button? Podcast taking a break. Podcast taking a break on the show. This dude just shouted out. He's taking a break. We not glorifying that.
This man just said whore lives don't matter.
No, they don't matter.
They don't matter at all. No.
I mean, you guys are saying that, but that's how a lot of guys are getting ass.
We know we are not
we know what kind of guys those are, though.
You know what? We talked about it, I believe, on your show, Kelly. The culture of the untouchables. Nobody brags about their experience with the untouchables.
Exactly.
Okay, we gotta maintain a clean facade. All right.
The booger wolves.
Right?
But we also talked about it yesterday, Chicken Mike, how you said even the polished women are having whole behavior these days.
Exactly, bro.
We stay away from them too.
Don't act like this ain't going on college campuses. We're talking about
indeed,
associates, bachelors, masters, PhD type women, right? Where it's 10, 20 dudes on the same campus that can say they've been with her. So that's what I'm saying. It's like those women carry some sort of value. We know men need these releases, right? And then you're going to tell me you're going to have this pretty... Look, I love dark-skinned women. My girl is dark-skinned, right? But when they yellow, the meat just shake a certain different. It's not the same. They more athletic when they dark-skinned, right?
This dude is reliving his highlight reel.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Black Man Unfiltered. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Please speak a little bit.
Can we just have a brief moment of prayer for this man? He is my Lord, cover him right now. Just push him down, God, and turn his mic off. Make sure his electricity is something. I pull it. Oh my God. Love you, Beans. But anyway, so for me, it was more exciting for me. It gave me a drive because it started so early for me at 13 years old. I was 13, she was 48. So it was kind of, oh yes. And she kind of showed me the ropes and everything, and she
48?
taught me. Yeah, she was like 48. I was 13. And so
Kelly, there's a whole sorry, Black Man. There's a whole world of this you will not believe. So if you want to get into that conversation about who men lost their virginity to and the ages of these women, we don't want to freak you out on this particular show. So we're gonna talk about that another.
That is called.
Please continue, Black Man.
Yeah. And so she taught me everything. I mean, I went over to. I mean, she was so smart. She told my mom that she wanted me to be a godson, and I would go over there every day, raking leaves, taking out the trash. That's what they, and I go over there. And she,
this is like predatory. What?
But watch this. She taught me everything. Stamina, what women like. I'm gonna lay here and let you do this. I'm gonna tell you when it's horrible. I'm gonna tell you when it's good. And so that encouraged me because the girls at my age, I did this till I was 13, 14. See, I stopped when I was like 17, 18. At 18, she was a little older. And she couldn't, everything she taught me started working and she couldn't take it. So at 8, when I got a little older, however, it encouraged me because I was like, oh, the girls my age, oh, they're not ready for this. So I'm gonna go try this out on every girl I can. And it was amazing. Man, that dude right there, right? The younger girls was like, damn, how do you know how to do this? And so, I used to say I owe it all to her until people started saying, don't say that. But yeah, she taught me everything I know, man. It started real early for me. I was 13.
Do you have children?
Now, yes. I'm married and have children.
13-year-old son?
Say it again.
Would you be okay if that happened to your 13-year-old son?
No, I wouldn't be. I think right now, like looking back on it, I understand that it's wrong, but I'm just telling you my story. But anyway, yeah, I do understand that was wrong and she was wrong, and I would never want that to happen to my son. But just like Trigger Mike said, a lot of this in our community has happened when older women, especially pillars in your community, because she was in ours. Come in, and the thing is, she didn't even, well, she did initiate a little bit, but I was outside just mowing her yard, right? And she never came on to me or said anything to me. I just walked in the house unannounced and she was in her robe just out the shower naked. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And she said, oh, no, you can look. And that's how it started.
Is she still alive now?
Oh, no, she dead.
Oh, I want to punch in her face.
Yeah, she did.
Listen, Kelly, like, I'm going to tell you, this is one of the most common thing. Like when men talk about how the culture is geared toward women and does not give two shits about men, this is what we're talking about. Like it's not even looked at the same way, right? Because obviously men, remember I made a reference yesterday, I believe, about how men make the best side pieces because we're not going to say anything, right? Even if you were to tell, I've heard this situation where the father found out and was like, well, damn, boy, just stop before your mama find out. Because the same thing had happened to him. The same thing happened to him. Because he's like, your mama gonna tell on that woman. I know you enjoying it. That's why you want to go over there, but you ain't going over there no more. Like that's how common this is. I'm telling you, y'all not ready for the world on the men's side.
Right.
Just because
The
we
thing
don't
is,
complain.
Mike, it's one thing to know it goes on, because I think all of us know it goes on, but to hear it so graphically, like how it came about, is like, oh wow, it still shocks. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's not even just the age of the woman; it's who did it. It's usually gonna throw you back in like shock, because just like Black Man said, you left your child with this person. Like you would take them over there to be babysat, right? So
Yeah,
that's
And
the
if,
part.
I
and
agree.
if my
too. I know
mom,
a lot
if
of
my mom
people
knew
said
about it,
that.
if my mom knew about it, she would have had an early exit. But again, like Trigger Mike said, I never said anything because at the time, like I didn't know that was wrong. I was like, I'm kind of, to me, it was like I got an older girlfriend. This is wonderful, right? Every day I come over here, she gonna show me this and that, and I mean, I couldn't wait. Mama said, "Where you going? Break leaves?" She said, "Did you break leaves yesterday?" I said, "Mom, them trees horrible over there." Right? I was over there every day.
So your mom still doesn't know now?
No. Nope.
Kelly, please don't look up his
If she
mom and
did,
try to tell us something.
I'm not gonna. That's none of my business.
because even if my mom knew, now my mom would probably go shoot in the grave. My mom was crazy.
Yeah,
But it's just, it's but yeah, I never told mom, never ever.
I know a lot of people said that to me when I had a son. They were like, "You're lucky. At least you have a son. You don't have to worry about things like them getting, raped." And I was like, "No, the statistic is it happens more with boys and men, but they don't talk about it."
Nobody wants to have that conversation. When I was in the Navy, we were having annual training. I was a
Thank you for your
reservist.
service, brother.
My pleasure. And as long as they keep sending this check for my back and my knees, it will always be my pleasure. And they had told me to put together a training. They were like, "Doc, we need you to put together a training for about essay and these type of things." So I went and got the information. I contacted my HM2, HM1, and was like, "Hey, I need these PowerPoint presentations. I need this data so I can create a presentation." I called the lady back and said, "I'm sorry. This says that male service members are raped and assaulted more than females." I was like, "I need this statistic is wrong." I literally was like, "There's something it says in here and I can't really." She's like, "Nope, that's correct." I was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "Okay, I'm gonna put it to you like this. Women get assaulted by men. Men get assaulted by men and women." She's like, "Do you believe it now?" I was like, "Oh, mind blown. Dang." And that is still true in today's society.
Right. And that's
Just
a lot
goes
of
to show you
that's
that
what I
there's
wanted
no
to hit on too, real quick, was that the fact that, a lot of times when the men do talk about stuff like that, they talk about it from, oh, it happened by a woman. But so many times, even as kids, it happens to little boys by men. And one of the places where it happens a lot is in daycare centers, especially those home daycare centers, right? Because the people are opening up these daycare centers in their houses, but they have multiple people coming in and out of that, family members and stuff that you don't know nothing about. You just know that it's here, it's closed, it's priced well. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple of cousins of not cousins, but family members where stuff happened to them sexually. I won't talk about those, but I will talk about this one specific situation where my little cousin was at a daycare spot, and when his mama came to get him, one of the daycare workers there had her foot in his mouth. Well, he was 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? And she literally had her big toe in his mouth. So my auntie, being a super duper Christian, right? She didn't go the violent route. You know what I'm saying? She did snap and go off, but she didn't, put her hands on nobody or nothing like that. But I mean, it's just all type of stuff that happened. And I'm not trying to cast aspersions on them, but I'm just saying, like, that's one of the reasons that I don't hear people on YouTube and in these spaces talking about the greater need for nuclear families and maybe possibly stay-at-home wives, because it's a lot of bad stuff happening at these daycare centers. Not to mention the fact that I lost a little cousin at a daycare center. I think he was 6 at the time, and they had some sort of wiring around the building. He got caught in it and ended up drowning. So I mean, man, them daycare centers ain't no joke.
I got one little quick statement I wanted to make.
Yes, sir.
To the brother, I can't see the name, but he's got the Horror Lives Matter dude. He was
Beans, bro, or a little podcast.
You about to get removed for that, Beans. I'm telling you.
So kind of what I was talking about, like clarifying with the nasty and everything. This is what I mean by nasty. I get a lot of attention from females, right? And they come at you, right? Okay, so Beans. All right, so I got a female tearing it up in her mouth, all over the place, skeeting on her face. I'm doing her dirty, right? She gonna go whole bath, and she gonna come right over and drop it off on you. You consider that a blessing?
Man, woo!
She just got done taking my out of, and she gonna come do it right with you. She gonna kiss you on the lips, mwah, and then she just got done taking my, and you consider that a blessing? She gave you something that you value right there.
Man,
take a breath. Take a breath before you answer this.
Woo.
Wait, you really asking that question?
Yeah, because when brothers out, when I was saying nasty, this is what I'm talking about, because I love women and they stay in my life. But when I say nasty, I know women for a fact will do their thing and go take a little bird bath, a little hoe bath, and be right up on you, bro, kissing you on your lips.
That's a fact.
So it's like when you say that, I don't know if you playing,
but bro,
I'm just wondering, like.
So this is what I'm gonna say. Wait, I'm gonna answer your question, and then I want you to answer mine.
Yes, sir.
The answer to your question is no, I don't value that. But let me ask you this: do wives do that? It ain't even that hard to think about.
Nah, but I mean, I might be misunderstanding, but no, wives don't.
Do. Okay. See,
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know, because I ain't married.
I'm always genuine. I answer people's questions, and I'm trying to be honest. And then when I give the questions back, because it's a hard question, people want to be disingenuous, bro.
No, I'm being genuine. I ain't married. And you telling me something that is only going to prevent me from ever getting married, because you saying that's commonplace. Wives do that.
What I'm saying, bro. What I'm saying is this.
Why would you do that?
A lot of whores wear rings. A lot of whores have life
commonplace, but they do it. It's not common. Let's not disparage women. Right. Well, it does happen. It does happen.
So I'll say this.
But that's the point, though, right? Because my point in making that statement was right, because he went to a very vile, part of being a whore, but that also applies to wives. Like I hate to say it, but apparently I'm the only one who knows this. But bro, I probably can't count on both my hands how many people's wives I've slept with. Right.
Even if you talk about a wife, you're talking about somebody who's in a committed relationship and they might be stepping out.
Right.
Now, that's bad, but I'm talking about whores, man. They stepping out for a living, like they do this on a regular. You talking about a wife who might have a dude on the side who she go creep with when her man's at work
and come home and drop off that same package that you mentioned, though. But they will come home and do that same thing that you just asked me the question of. They'll do that too, bro. My ex-wife, right? Like I said, I got married when I was 19. She came to see me with her new boyfriend outside in the car. I was at a studio. This was when I was chasing my music dream. She came to the studio. She gave me some head in the studio, walked outside, got in the car with him, kissed him in his mouth, like, let's go.
And that's a wife?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying at that time she was technically my wife. We were still married, but we wasn't together no more. We had been together for a year, and she was with that guy in a relationship. But what I'm saying is that's I'm trying not to disparage the action.
Order in the court, right? Because now I hate all women because of y'all. Thank y'all.
Can I say something?
No, it's not about hate. No, wait. It's not about hate. The point is this: is that you can take a wife that's the lowest scum of the projects, right? I mean, you can take a woman that's the lowest scum of the project, right? And you can take a woman that's at the top of the food chain, bro, and they will commit some of the same vile acts. So I don't tend to judge women that way. I don't compartmentalize women as saying because you may be a quote unquote whore, which just technically for me, when I say that means that you slept around with a lot of guys. That don't mean that you would come to me in such a nasty, vile way.
Yeah, but well, I will say this, if I could add to that real quick before you go, sweetheart. I'm in banking, right? And when in corporate America, guys, and a lot of women there are married and they carpool with their husbands. And on those lunch breaks when you can't find them, just go to your car to go to lunch in the parking garage, and you'll see some heads going up and down on coworkers. Women just giving wives who are out there just giving their coworker or supervisor some head on lunch. And then their husband will pick them up, and it's just so disgusting to me. It almost make me throw up every day. They'll go out and their husband come open their door for them, you know, show them chivalry. He'll kiss her and he'll put her in the car. And he'll go around, get in the car, and they'll drive off. And I'm like, dude, if you know your wife was just sucking Kansas through California, you would be amazed at what's going on with your lips right now, brother.
I would like to say something on this, please.
Hold on. Kelly was next, and then we get to you. Thank y'all for. If y'all just coming in, tune into the Trigger Mike show.
Triple X.
All right. Kelly, go ahead.
That's crazy.
I just wanted to share a quick story. One of my patients, he was a pilot, and he flew private jets. So he had a card when he would land in an area, and he would give it out to people. It was called The Other Guy, and it just said The Other Guy business card, and it had his phone number. And he said, you don't know how many wives would call me and come visit me in my hotel room when their husbands were at work all the time. Well-to-do, and this was a Caucasian man, well-to-do women who stayed at home because their husbands were at work taking care of the bills. And they would call him and he said, so many wives. So it does happen.
Well, I don't know why anybody's surprised, right? I mean, when I talk to a lot of women who always constantly think that men cheat, I always come back to them and say, what the hell you think we're cheating with? You know, I mean, it's not all single women that we're cheating with. I mean, we know wives. I mean, you take the statistics, they say women are cheating more now than men are.
Yep.
You know, but you can't live your life in a scarcity kind of mindset over that kind of stuff. You know, so I mean, you just hope you pick the right one. You know, and so being married to my wife, we never even talk about cheating. I never checked her phone; she never checks mine. But we had conversation. You know, of course, she said, "I never cheat." Blah blah blah. I said, "Well, if you did, don't." If you did and you go and you're going to pass away before me, don't go get this God thing where you want to bare your soul on your deathbed. Because if you did, I want you to take that shit with you to your grave.
Right.
Because, I don't want you to have no bedside confession, that you did it. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But we don't harp on those kind of things. And I feel good about that I never really get concerned on what my wife is doing. And it's been a long marriage, and I just don't. I mean, she just kind of, she's where she's supposed to be. Unless she's a real good magician, and some women are. She's just always there, and she just caters to me so much. I mean, I think if somebody else was busting it out, I don't think she would be able to do it as well as she is. I'll give her an Academy Award, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so
hold on real quick, y'all. Let me read these super chats and then we'll continue. Who was that trying to go?
That was Cheeky.
We'll get to Mr. Walker. He has something to say. Then we'll go to Cheeky and Raw B. All right, the accountability partner, $5, my brother. Speak on it. Thank you.
AP, what up, boy?
Clement Gray, $5. Pastor Stephen Darby and G. Craig Lewis. Gino Jenkins, speak on spirit spouses and such. People don't listen to them because they hold men accountable more. Yeah, I don't know who those other two dudes are, but Gino Jennings.
Jennings, baby.
Gino is boy, ladies. My name is Trigger Mike. My name is Trigger Mike. His name is probably Kill Him Dead. Gino Jenkins. Like this dude,
he is a nuclear warhead, bro.
Yeah, if you have any ego, don't take it over there to watch his videos.
Right?
Did you see the one where he told the pastors, if your wife dressed like this, they hoes?
I've seen worse.
Oh my God,
worse.
Dude!
He yelled. He was making an example out of somebody talk about women in the pulpit. Like I was like, damn, he's speaking on women in the pulpit. He don't.
Man,
anybody could get it. On
that guy's different.
Real 83, $5. I feel that God knows what's best. In Leviticus 21:13, it states that you should marry a woman in her virginity. A widow or a divorced woman, you should not.
Oh, he right about that.
That's what it says.
That's what it says.
Well, I guess we getting passports thing. Ain't no virgins in America no more.
I know that.
Clement Gray, $5. Talk about body count. One man slept with one woman who slept with 10 men who also slept with 20 women each. You do the math. Answer, soul ties. That is an excellent distinction, sir. Clement Gray, $5. Hell, Trigger Mike, women out here sleeping with each other. Why do you think they say they don't need men? Damn.
Bro.
JR, we got to get that little thing where I get sound effects on. You damn right. That is true. $5, the accountability partner. So this is a new messaging. Disparage marriage, everybody be a hoe, and F the community. This is very dangerous dialogue. This is kind of true, AP. Scared me a little bit too, if I'm gonna be honest. All right, we're gonna keep that real quick. We're gonna get Mr. Walker in here, then Cheeky and Raw B on the topic. Then I got a question for y'all. Mr. Walker, what you got on it?
I want to touch on that discouraging marriage because it happens often. You know, the banter that was going on about, you know, wives being 304s. And here's one of my rules. You know, understand the warped hypergamy of women today. And just how we say double standards. I don't like saying double standards. They're just grim realities. And today's woman, they want what they want. So my rule is present them with your best self, stand on your square. You know what I'm saying? They want that 6 foot, 6-pack, all of the above. Do your best. If you don't want that disappointment and worry about somebody else in your cookie jar, do your best, present your best self to your woman and make it to where she's a fool to be going out giving up your goodies. Plain and simple. That's plain. Ain't no need to be discouraged about no marriage. Present her with your best self. And you ain't got to worry about that because that insecurity shit is unattractive to women. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I would say as a wife, make sure that your woman's marrying you because she likes you and not your wallet.
There you go.
That's how you prevent that.
She's
Because
if she's
only with you for the basis of hypergamy, she'll keep trying to upscale. But if she actually likes and loves you, then there's a respect that she's not going to go over certain boundaries. Just saying, as a wife.
That's true. Yes, she got to be into you. Your woman has to be into you. If she just into you for what you can provide, your lifestyle, you donezo. You done in the water. Because it's somebody that's going to come charm her up, as these horrible stories have shown. But present her with your best self. Stand on your square and simply make her fool to leave you. Plain and simple.
Got you. Excellent dialogue on the topic. So now we got somebody, and I was really hoping he'd come in here because he gets an interesting perspective on this particular topic, and he got the right to say whatever the hell he want over all of us men because he ain't no hoe, and he can prove it. Cheeky Banner, what's up, my man?
How you feeling, dog? I just found it interesting whenever we had these marriage conversations, right? They always tell us, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's not guaranteed. That's the problem, right? Like, I understand relationships come with a risk. And I understand, do the best that you can to get the best efforts and the best results. But then at the same time, I'm hearing what y'all saying. And I'm hearing, don't make her be the fool. Some women are just fools. And apparently they do a good enough job to disguise men. So at this point, it's almost like the marriage isn't worth the risk, right? Considering marriage isn't worth the risk for most people. Most women don't want to be married now because they've already admitted and kind of came to terms with it. They just hoes, which is cool, right? If you want to be a hoe, just be a hoe, right? But it puts people in a position like myself where it's just like, well, damn, I see why the passport bros is doing what they doing. Because pretty much if you're in the Western hemisphere and you adopt any of European culture, whether you be in America or Europe, I'm going to just consider you a slut off rip and then just keep it pushing.
Damn. Shots fired.
Damn, Cheeky.
I know, right? Like, what are we supposed to do with that?
It's not even shots fired, though. It's just raw truth.
No, it is true.
That's why I be talking about that. You got to keep minimum contact, bro. I don't see how brothers can respect themselves and be willing to, swim in that cesspool like that.
No, what it really is is that when we look at how, like, men are always gonna men are always going to be stupid because we have to be. Society going to hold us accountable regardless. So what's really said is that if we partake in Heaux culture, we're going to be held accountable. If we want children, we're going to be held accountable by honorable men to marry that woman because she had our children. We're screwed either way. That's what most men need to realize. Like, you're screwed. You're going to bear the brunt of what happens in society and the totality of the effects that any of your action can have. So you're screwed. That's what I've been taught, right? It's like, if you want children as a man, you're screwed. If you don't want no children, you just want to be out here slaying women, you're screwed. So it's, anything you do, you better pick your path in life, because that road gonna have potholes in it and your tire gonna go flat at some point, right? So, I mean, that's really what we're dealing with here in these conversations. They're YouTube talking points, but everybody just got to make their decision and go their own way. Robbie, you there?
I am.
Wait, everybody, hold on. Let me lay the floor for my sis here, okay? If you have not taken your medicine this morning, if you have not taken your meds, and you are ready for your daily dose of terrorism, we're going to open the floor up to my sister, Robbie. What's going on?
Yes, it's the truth terrorist coming to your ears, okay? Now let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Now we sit here and we listen to people that are self-purported husbands and wives disparaging marriage, saying that people in marriages are whores. And I'm going to tell you right now, stop listening to people trying to tell you what to do because they have a messed up purvey of what marriage should or should not be. Hold yourself accountable. When you're going into relationships, be the person that you want your partner to be. If you're a faithful person, you want a faithful partner, be a faithful person and have a faithful partner. People are hurt. They've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. They didn't have their heart busted. They didn't sat there and had their wives and their husbands cheat on them. So they done been kissing them in their mouth when they mouth been in other places. God damn. That's your story. Stop perpetuating this mother effing nonsense. Purvey, purview, I don't give a shit. You know exactly what I'm saying. Don't try to hit me with no damn semantics. At the end of the day, you get what the hell you qualify for. You get what the hell you deserve. You get what the hell you putting out there. Okay? So stop being out here acting like little dust ass, nasty ass, hoe ass hoes, and then maybe you will get something better. Stop making your qualifications be based off materialism and outward appearances and start dealing with people's characters. Y'all not dealing with characters. Let's be honest. There's a whole bunch of women out here that only give a shit if a man is fine as hell. And if he's fine as hell, he can do no wrong. There's a whole bunch of men out here that don't give a shit what about a woman's character. They don't care if she's a good woman. They don't care if she's a bad woman. As long as she got a flat ass stomach, some long hair, and a fat ass, they're going to bust them cheeks open and beat it the hell down. So don't sit here and say you're victimized if you have children. If you wasn't fucking, then you wouldn't have children. Keep your penis in your pants. Ladies, don't sit here and be like, oh my God, this guy's so horrible and he left me with kids. Sorry, living, walking, breathing example. You can have all the sex you want to. You could be the biggest hoe in the world. Not saying that I advise that you do, but you know what is the proof? The evidence of that is the children. So if you are going to be out here doing dumbass shit, make sure you're protecting yourself so there's no evidence. When you committing a crime, baby, it's best to make sure there ain't no fingerprints at the scene. Too many of y'all leaving fingerprints at the goddamn scene. I'm gonna be quiet.
Hey, you know what? Can I respond to that?
Drop.
So Robbie, like I agree. Yeah, I agree with Robbie, because like CEO DMP said, when it comes to these cesspools, men. I think today men are starting to wake up a little bit and starting to understand what CEO said and understand what Mr. Walker is saying or whatever. We praying for beans, but when we talk about women that have been all over the world and they didn't just have sex with all these dudes, you have to be very particular when you and I tell my son now, he's 15. When you lay down with a woman, son, you're 15. But when you get to that point, you feel like you want to have sex and you lay down with a woman, you in your mind, you better believe, hey, is this the woman that I will want to bear my children? Because that shit could happen to you.
How about you teach him you don't lay down with someone unless this is the person that you want to be your wife? How about you teach him keep his penis in his pants until he wants to get married? How about we teach our daughters the same damn thing? Like in a sense that you know I loved you, but I got to say the truth. Stop having sex. Stop having sex.
Yeah, don't have sex with nobody.
That's the modern day advice, and we can clearly see it
don't
doesn't
do
work.
it.
No,
it
it
don't
doesn't
work.
work.
Yeah, no, it don't
doesn't
work
work
because
because
nobody.
these men love hoes. Right, because
So
these men
No,
love
no,
we're
hoes.
gonna need
no,
to,
no,
we're gonna
no, no,
need
don't
to
do
add
that.
something
No,
to it.
See, here's the problem. It doesn't work because everybody likes sex, including these women. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, you can be a good guy not having sex and not slinging bean, and it's not respected by the women. It's not
Uh-oh.
respected by anybody. If we really want to
Then
keep it a
drop
bean,
them.
if you really want to
Then
keep it a
drop them.
bean, this advice to men that you should just be go looking for somebody that's good. You are what you attract. That's a lie. Because all y'all whores, and I don't got to be one to see it.
Oh
Right?
shit.
Now that's a
So
damn
it's
lie. All
so
women
it's
is
it's
not whores. We
it,
got to stop
Told
that's
y'all he can
associating that
cool.
call us a hoe at
nonsense.
any time.
That's
I do
cool.
have to testify
Kennedy
That's
against
American,
cool.
you know,
And you
that.
know what? And you know what? That's great. It's funny that she can say that, but then in the same breath say these men, right? No, these women. How about that?
No,
Because
what I
initially,
said was
no. What you said was because these men want to have sex. You said these men. You didn't say you people. You didn't say all of y'all. You said these men. You made it specify the man. So I'm going to specify the woman. How about this?
well, yeah.
Y'all
How about I
whores
said
that
these
keep
men because you
opening
said
y'all
that.
legs. Don't get mad when you can't find. See, that's so crazy, right? Like if we're gonna do this, right? Let's keep it a bean. These women don't want men who are good men. They don't. They don't want men who aren't sexually active. They're looking for a specific type of man because they want that. They don't
Well,
want to be
Kiki,
married.
let's keep it a bean.
Go
You
ahead.
just said
All right.
there ain't no virgins in the United States of America. You just said you're gonna go ahead and get your passport because in your mind,
I
based
said
on the
let's
talking
assume
points,
that. I said let me assume
no,
that if you're in
okay,
the Western Hemisphere.
whatever.
All right.
Based on the talking points that you are force fed every day on these social
Kennedy
medias,
Square,
y'all
cam
got
up
it
real quick
twisted.
so I know it's you.
Y'all got it twisted to think that these women overseas is virgins. And guess what? These women overseas is getting paid by the pound, literally by the pounding. They're getting paid to sell you a dream that there is a whole virgin. It's your absolute mindset. And a lot of men on these panels sit there and say, well, we love the hoes. Well, it's a double standard. Well, women can't have body count, but it doesn't matter however many bodies that a man catches. So at the end of the day, the correct inference from the statement is men love to have sex. They just don't want women that like to have sex. That's just the facts of what is constantly spewed and the freaking rhetoric, which is why the double standard is in play. Women have to be virginals. They have to be the Madonna, but they love the damn whore. That's a psychological principle. That's a
skip past that
psychological
part, right?
principle.
We're gonna
That's
talk.
a psychological
Talk about
principle.
the
That's a
actual factual, right?
psychological.
Since
That's
we
a
want to talk about the actual
psychological principle.
factual,
That is the
the
actual
actual fact that
factual.
the
So
actual
go
fact
see
that the
Sigmund
actual
Freud.
fact of
Go
the
see
matter
Sigmund
is
Freud.
women
Go
do
see
not
Sigmund
want
Freud.
women do not
Go
want
see
the things
Sigmund
that they're
Freud.
claiming that they want. Because the moment
That's a
that they
lie.
the moment
Order in
that
the
they
court.
find a way, first of all, let's address this. We're going to address the culture. We're not going to act as if American culture isn't based on hedonism and it has no religious principles anymore. So I take my risk and I take a better chance going to a Muslim country or any country that has any type of principles where these women are still very vocally saying, hey, the things that's going on in the West, I don't want that for my child. It's so funny. It's so funny. Everybody in the West don't see the problem with the West, but everybody outside the West see it. How is that
So
possible?
at the end of the day, it's funny because you're always cutting me off when I'm speaking. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology, penned the theory of the Madonna whore complex. That's not something that is conjecture. That is a part of the DSM. Let's get into it. And at the end of the day, while you would love to think that it is just the Western world, if you think that Muslim men don't sit there and love their wives, but still have their whores and their concubines, I'm sorry, let me introduce you to Dubai, where they pay for women to be flown in for them to have fecal matter placed upon them and pee on them. Are you okay? I think it's very interesting how people have all these high ideals for people in the East when you don't even really know. How many people do you actually know that are over there? How many times have you actually been there? You know what I'm saying? Like, stop having all these classifications and assignations based on geological location. Some people are simply, they have a sexual proclivity to lean towards the nasty and the salacious, and some people are more chaste and virtuous. At the end of the day, y'all just want to make it Western women because you like to complain. And what it really is a lot of y'all have had bad experiences because you've chosen poorly. You've chosen the girl at the club. You've chosen the woman that you know good and damn well is trying to just sleep around with everybody in the world, but you just got to have it. So don't sit there and put it on all women. Period. Like I said, and I'm going to always firmly stand on it. You make your own decisions in life. Choose better. If somebody is not giving you what you want and you see that they are doing things that is contraindicated for your lifestyle, drop their ass like a bad habit. There is no need to have all of these emotions involved. But again, people have so much emotions involved because they move it too goddamn fast. And don't nobody take the time to actually get to know one another in a relationship. They just trying to fuck and then sit there and put these fucking parameters on people in order to put them in some type of cage and confine. And I'm tired of people.
All right, well, hold on, wait, because she said she wanted to finish. But what's so crazy is you keep using these experiences like Dubai, and they're 1% of the world and one of the richest cities with one of the most resources due to oil and things of that nature. So you're talking about people who actually are flying out women in the West. It's crazy. It's almost like they're flying out the same whores that stay in the United States and in the Western Hemisphere. It's almost as if that's the case, and that these 1% men who have the ability to do that do. But when you go, and if you've been to Dubai, actually, like I have, or Al Udeid, Qatar, which I've been, they're normal people that have normal lives and live very modestly and conservatively because that is a part of their culture. Now, of course, there's rules for thee and not for me for those who have the money, but most people in Dubai aren't princes walking around. Most of them are working class, just like in the United States. But what I've noticed is, even though working class women in the United States, they still have this idea of sexual liberation. They still have this idea of doing what I want to do because we've been sexually repressed as people. And they still have this idea that it doesn't matter what my body count is, even if a man himself is chaste. Now what?
All right. All right. Wait, Robbie. We're going to come back. Robbie, we're going to come back. Okay. I got to say what's up to my man. He didn't get to talk last time. John the Baptist, how you doing today,
don't worry.
What's going on, Trigger? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Oh, it's afternoon now. Damn, we going strong. What you got on the topic, sir?
Man, I actually lost for words in the conversation going on before me. I kind of hate to come behind all that. But
and would you mind giving me one moment just to
no, if you don't sit your sit
no, don't give her no moment. No, don't give her no moment, John. Go ahead and talk, John. No, don't let her cut you off.
The thing I was
put that Indian woman in her place.
I know I'm Indian. You mad? Don't be mad because I'm not from the West.
If both of y'all, go ahead, Mr. John the Baptist.
Yeah. So I guess the question was, when I looked at the title, was the whole phase worth it? And I look at it, I thought about that, and the question that came to my mind was the quote from Henry Ford. It says, whether you think you can or whether you think you cannot, you're usually right. Pertaining to, and I pertain that to relationships. So if you think the whole phase is worth it, then you enjoy the decisions that you made and all the consequences that come with it. And if you don't think it's worth it, then you don't participate in it. You don't participate in the whole phase. What I'm starting to learn about modern day culture, which I'm very, very traditional, which I try to make. I think everybody knows that I'm very, very traditional, and I don't believe in modern day culture. I think it is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to us in my lifetime.
Agreed.
And so my ultimate decision is that I would never in this culture encourage anyone to get married or have a relationship.
Damn.
Because the values of what marriage is for has been destroyed. Yes, whether you're a believer or not, whether you're a Christian or not, even if you're non-religious, even the old traditional values of marriage are destroyed. And so therefore I come to the conclusion, people just need to, how did Kevin say, just die alone, buy a dog, die alone?
Damn right.
Because no one understands the value of marriage. No one understands the roles of marriage. So my thing is, why do you want to get married? Just enjoy the whole phase. Just enjoy what you've been doing. Stop ruining what marriage is. If we stop breeding, if we stop having kids, we can all die out.
Unfortunately, most people.
And then hold on. And then if we all can die out, and then maybe this world can have a chance of producing people that actually want to honor what marriage is in relationships and not enjoy the whole phase. For the fact we talked about enjoy the whole phase.
I think that
I'm sorry.
the issue though is that most people want to have
Can I
a
finish?
wedding. They don't want to have a marriage.
Yeah. Hold on. We're
I'm
gonna
sorry,
get to Sway. Sway, what's going on, my man? Welcome.
What's going on?
What you got on the topic, bro?
Well, I haven't decided if I wanted to be serious or if I wanted to come up here and troll y'all yet.
Well,
Because
John the Baptist just spanked her. I feel like I just
Troll.
got my ass whooped by my daddy. So
Be
now
serious, Wayne.
whatever we were, we are now on a serious.
Right.
okay.
I ruined the vibe trigger. My bad.
No, you didn't ruin it. Like sometimes we need that. I'm not even saying you ruined it. You straightened it. That's what you did. You straightened it.
If you talk about if it's worth it, then you have to talk about, okay, what are the outcomes that you want? Because if the outcome is that you want is the outcomes of a hoe, then sure. But if you're asking for the outcomes of what your grandmama had, are you living your grandmama's life? Are you living her values? Are you living by the things that she told you to get those outcomes? Or did you say, fuck all that? I'm going to do what I want that makes me feel good. And I'm going to find something that makes me happy and a man that makes me happy. And so when you talk about what John, I like what John said about, if you're with the modern mindset, like the toxic modern mindset, then I don't think marriage is for you. I think the traditional values still hold suit for marriage. I'm not still with the down of like, oh, either you're 50-50 or 100. I think there's nuances in between there. I think, children, age, demographics, like they all matter when you talk about a woman working. Or even, I guess, nowadays, we could talk about women being hoes. Nowadays, women being hoes is, for them, glorified. I don't know how that has come or how they switched it. I still don't even know how we switched the word, the N word. Like that's a I don't know when that happened, how that happened, how it became cool to say the N word, and the same concept. I don't know when this happened, how it happened. It'd be cool to become a hoe, because I feel like men, time and millenniums, even their grandmama mamas was telling them don't be a hoe. So,
yeah, fact.
The year was 1972.
Robbie gotta go, so she wants to drop a bomb on us again before she leaves. Sis, what you got?
Yeah, so you guys need to start looking up the prostitution rates in Dubai, Brazil, Asia, Europe, Africa, the whole entire East. Because at the end of the day, like, I know there's a red light district. Like, I know travel tourism for sex is like super a major big deal. And they're not flying women out from the West. Like, they're literally going to these places to sleep with prostitutes. That's number one. Number two, if women are whores, that's because they're sleeping with men. So that means that like men have a responsibility as the leaders, since there's like double standards and shit and men can't be hoes, to be careful where they're putting their penises at. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, out of all the people on the panel, I think I might be the only one to have waited until I had degrees and a husband, and my husband, me, and my children all have the same name, and I was in my 30s to have children. So, while y'all want to sit there and say I'm a hyena and all this and all that and the third, you don't have to agree with my talking points or my ideology. The way I live my life is the type of woman that you're searching for. So instead of always trying to summarily dismiss what people have to say, you might want to catch this tea and get the damn knowledge. See, I don't have the bitter hangups and suffer from the social tropes that keep people from finding happiness in relationships, because I don't really care to listen to the negative commentary that other people make about relationships, because I'm actually happy in sustainable relationships. Y'all gotta find your center of happy. That's my son. Sorry about that. He has autism. That's why I have to go. But you have to find your center of happy in a relationship. Y'all keep following behind everybody and holding on to bitterness, and your heart is always going to be empty, and you're always going to be sitting on dry. And if you want to sit there and keep sleeping with everybody, then don't call them a hoe, because if they're a hoe, how do you value yourself for sleeping with one? Anyway, Trigger Mike, thanks for having me. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.
That last point was it.
Well, yeah. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I feel attacked personally. And
real quick, Kenny the Square, cam up in the back real quick. You can cam back down. Just need to know it's you, and then I'll let you up.
I wanted to ask Robbie before she.
So
left.
we're gonna get. we're gonna get the question going around. I'm gonna give everybody 1 minute, just so we can get everybody involved again. So the question is, and we're gonna start with Sparkle.
Thanks, bro.
Do women value sexual experience in men? Go. 1 minute.
I think yes, purely because women talk and they like to compare notes, unfortunately. But I think one of the things that people need to stop doing in this dating culture is treating it like consumers. People use these apps like they're shopping in a catalog, swipe, 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 looking for the next best thing rather than seeing what's best for them. But yeah, I do think women, by and large, do like experiencing men.
Nice. Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports. If you are there, do women
I'm still
value
here. Yeah, I'm
do
here.
women value sexual experience in men?
They sure do. You know, they just do. You know, the numbers could be debatable, but most women would rather a guy know his way around. Then you make adjustments from there. So yes, they do.
Nice. CEO DMP, do women value sexual experience in men?
I really couldn't. I couldn't speak for the women. I don't know. I really don't know.
Got you. Black Man Unfiltered, do women value sexual experience in men? In the men they chase, the men they want?
I think that some years ago, maybe, but now it's just a game. It's just a competition, I believe. I'm gonna get what I want, in spite of. I don't care what it takes to get it. And so yeah, back in the day there was value, and I hope you go back to the whole, value in a marriage thing. But that Cheeky was talking, because Cheeky was on to something. But yeah, I just believe they don't value it anymore like they used to. I think it's just become a norm to just get it and move on.
Yeah, and to be honest, let me look at my topics for the week. It's in there. It worded a little different, but it's in there.
Yep.
So we're gonna get to it. Y'all come on back for that. All
Amen.
right, Beans. Do women value sexual experience from their men?
Hold on, let me let this hoe up out of here. All right, shorty, I'm gonna see you next time. No, I'm just like
we still praying. Moment of silence.
Right now, God, touch him.
Yeah.
Well, to answer your question, I would say yes, right? Emphatically, yes. It's to me really the major YouTube talking point for women understanding that it's in their benefit for men to have bodies. Because the one thing we know is that you don't want a man that does not know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? But also that the lower tier women should voluntarily be the bodies for these men, so that when they're in position to marry the better women, they will be righteously prepared to satisfy their wives. Shout out to all the whores.
That is a perspective. So that goes back to your point that hoes are necessary or hoes are valuable.
That is a fact. I'm glad you got that. That's why I like
I saw you brought it around full circle. You
see how I do.
Kenny, I see you in the back again. Cam up if you are available. I can't let you up till I know who you are. I don't think you've been on my show before. All right. Who's next? Cheeky. Do women value sexual experience? Oh, you give us your point on this. Do women value sexual experience in men, modern women?
Absolutely, they do. They'll make it be known. Like Sparkle was saying, they brag about it in their group chats. They put in their texts. The stats will show it when you look it up. I mean, they care about sex. They like sex too. And men aren't the only ones that's not disciplined when it comes to sexual activity. Let's go ahead and change that narrative.
Yeah. Hey, damn. I think like every time I do a show, somebody talks about one of the topics in like my top 10, but that is one. We need to stop talking about D discipline. There's no P discipline either. Who's next? Mr. John the Baptist. Do modern women value sexual experience from their men?
Direct answer is yes, but I think it comes from a demonic spirit that's unhealthy for women, and that's going to lead them down a path, come a path that's not going to be healthy for their life.
Always factuals from you on that. the demon. Look, I can speak to that demonic spirit thing. I actually explained that to my wife last night. Something as simple as, damn, what were we talking about? It was something simple about the basis of what leads to women becoming whores, like the way you dress. And she's like, "What? Why is it a big deal for them wanting to feel sexy?" I said, "That's a demonic spirit. Why you like, you know?" And I think you got to debate with women on those type of things because sometimes they don't understand things from a man's point of view to what excites us and what makes us even want to push that far, right? A lot of men just approach women. So the funny thing about it is that sometimes I get on these panels and men will say stuff like all women are hoes. No, because y'all men don't notice all women. That girl that's a part of the J community or that's protected by her fathers, that's always covered, you don't even notice she got big breasts. You don't even know she got a big butt because of the way she got it covered up. So you've been tailored to just look at hoes all day. That's why you always smashing them. You have no idea how many women out here you don't even see with your eyes because you're only out here looking for the girls you can smash, right? So definitely, like, there's some, as soon as you let that spirit where you just want to be sexy all the time take a hold of you, you're going to get in the way and in the eyesight of men who just want to slay you down. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. Sway, my man, do women value sexual experience in their men?
Yeah. It don't matter how old you are either. It don't matter if you're 16, don't matter if you're 60. So I mean, that's just plain and simple. They don't want the nigga that can't give them the dick because they hear stories from their friends, and so if they not getting the same experience from their friends, then they'll somehow feel like they settling or they're not seeking something that's readily available to them. So they're like, why would I be here with this nigga when I know I can go get this shit because my friend got it and her friend got it and this. So it's like, yeah, it is what it is.
But you know, I would say one thing though, Trigger Mike, again, because of the way I think this is probably gonna go over people's heads. But we always talk about men being in leadership roles, and I think we do kind of like play to, you know, like our beliefs and shit to whatever advantages us, right? Because we'll look at some situations like let's look at women and we'll tell the women, well, they're being modern and they're being this and they aren't being traditional, right? And then a lot of times some of us that believe in religion, we like to go to religion and say, well, religion say this and say that. But then when the religion is saying something that goes against what you want or something that's in your favor, your advantage, then all of a sudden that don't really matter because it's in the Old Testament or Jesus didn't say it ain't in the red letter, so it don't matter. But because it's just like with marriage, right? What constitutes marriage? I'm asking you specifically within your belief right now, Trigger Mike. What constitutes marriage?
What constitutes marriage?
Yes.
You mean the bond between husband and wife and the adherence to the principle that uphold?
I'm saying, I'm asking you specifically your opinion to you. What would constitute marriage to you? If there's people standing in front of you saying we're married, what would they need to present to define that marriage to you?
These people are promised to one another and they uphold the tradition. And by tradition, I mean standards of the institution of marriage under God.
So they wouldn't need the piece of paper in your eyes?
No, they wouldn't.
Okay. See, so you're different. And see, that's what I'm saying, right? Because, well, biblically, you know, Adam and Eve didn't have rings. They didn't have a wedding reception. They didn't have any of this, but we still consider them husband and wife. And so, but that's what we do. We kind of like married people look at people that ain't married, quote unquote, with that piece of paper, and they go, y'all just together. Y'all just in a relationship, right? So it devalues the relationship.
But Beans, can I add something to that, Beans?
Yeah, sure.
Biblically, it says in the Bible, and I hate to go to church here, but biblically it says in the Bible that if ye live on the land, then you must follow the law of the land. And so the law of the land requires you to have a marriage license to be married. So you have to follow that in order to benefits of you filing your taxes together. Like there's a whole lot of things under that umbrella that benefits you to have that license to be married. So it's not the fact that when people say you're not together or you're not this and you're not that. It's a requirement by the law of the land that if you're going to be together, in that type of thing, sharing finances and things of that nature, and taxes and things of that nature, you have to have that license.
So how do you explain common law?
Common law in what state? Because it varies from state to state.
But so it wouldn't matter, right? If the fact is we've been together for a certain amount of time and we decide to split up, it can be treated as if we actually went and got the piece of paper, right? That's common law, right? Common law marriage,
That's the
right?
law of the land.
That's the law of the land. Exactly.
Right. So, but this is what I'm saying. So now that's the law of the land. That's and the other one is paperwork law of the land, right? But in neither one of those states does it say you have to have a piece of paper. It says you have to have, one place says you have to have a piece of paper in order for us to recognize you, right? But your union to your significant other isn't supposed to be for the state.
So let me ask you this, Beans. Let me ask you this. Say, for instance, right now you go out and you're doing a big job, right? You're getting paid big money, and you have the mindset of we don't need the piece of paper,
That's
and you get hurt on that.
That's a bad example. I know what you're saying, but that's a bad example.
And you get hurt on that job,
mm-hmm.
and you fall, and God forbid you lose your life.
Mm-hmm.
The woman that you with gets none of the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
She gets none of your money.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to inherit anything that you guys have built together,
mm-hmm.
because you're not even if she comes to the hospital, they're going to say family only. She's going to say I'm his. They're going to say you're his what?
Right.
Girlfriend. Only family right now, ma'am.
Again, what you're talking about is government paperwork type thing. I'm saying the way we view people. I don't have to view you the way the government views you. The government deems you a slave. I don't have to view you as a slave. Right? Even if they put you in chains, I can still say you're a free man who they have decided to chain, right? Unjustly, right? I don't have to view it a certain way, is what I'm saying. As a people, the way we communicate with each other, right? I'll be honest, bruh, I'm all for hoes. I'm not joking about this, right? Every woman is not wife material. And I think it's a bad state to try to tell all women that they need to go try to be wives or even mothers for that matter. When we see a lot of women, probably not the majority, but a lot of women destroying men and destroying children, trying to be something that they're really not, which is
in my opinion, Beans, I think in the leadership role as men, as we get older and things become brighter to us and we become smarter, I'm with CEO DMP on this one. When we get smarter as men, the leadership turns away the hoes. They don't embrace them. In our community right now, 70% of the women are single moms. Why? Because we may perceive them as hoes and have sex with them and get them pregnant. Now they're all raising kids by themselves, and then they eventually raise the men that they hate, and then the father's no longer in the picture. When we're embracing these hoes and we're not serious about the women that we're having sex with, that's a lack of leadership, because a whole lot of stuff come out of that, right? Women deal with a whole lot of emotional stuff from getting escape penis when he come in and bang it up and leave, right?
But black man, hold on, that's inaccurate as well. See, this is what I mean, right? And I'm gonna explain why I say it's inaccurate, because you said they're single mothers, right? They're single mothers because they're quote unquote not married. But if 50% of fathers are living in the house with their children, that means these women ain't single. But we viewing them as single because they not married. That's what I'm saying. And those type of things those type of terms get thrown around. We use them to kind of be divisive, to set ourselves up to say, well, we're doing better than you because we got this guy. Bro, it's people in businesses that's like that. You're not married to the record label that you're signed to, but we know these record labels is getting paid off of all these rappers' death. Why? Because they have insurance policies. It can be that simple to have an insurance policy. You don't need to have the government identify you as a couple or as marriage, right? For me to consider it as a marriage and to respect you as that. What I'm saying is we as men, we have to, I think, right, start valuing women in whatever roles they play. I'm not talking about when they destroying men. That's what I'm saying. That's different. And I think a lot of times that happens because women are trying to be something that they're not, right? All women are not built to be mothers or wives. and we need to allow those women. I'm almost done. I'm just saying we need to allow the women that aren't built to be mothers and wives the space to live as such.
So I'm gonna say this last thing.
Yep.
In the Bible it says, if a man is to divorce his wife or to leave his wife, he should provide her with a certificate of divorce. So if the Bible is asking us to provide a certificate for divorce, why wouldn't he want us to have a certificate of marriage?
Is that in Corinthians?
That exactly. Oh, you know your book, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I read Corinthians, First Corinthians 7.
So he's asking. So if he said, if you're going to leave your wife, you must provide her a certificate of divorce. But if you, so if he's asking for us to give her a certificate of divorce to break the marriage, then wouldn't you think he would want us to have a certificate to recognize the marriage?
True, but again, you already stated that this was behind the law of the land principle. You see what I'm saying? So you're a believer right now, right? You believe in Christ, right?
Yes.
Okay. If the law of the land was for you not to believe in Christ, yes or no, would you stop believing? Just really quickly, yes or no? Okay. So that's my point. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We will say, yo, this is what the book say. But if the book is going against what you think or what you believe, then you will say, nah, I ain't rolling with the book on this one. That's a tricky game that all of us really play. That's why I don't subscribe to religion.
Can I chime into this AB conversation for a second? Because
real quick, we're gonna let Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports, and then we're gonna get the final.
Yeah, because both of you guys could be right from your own perspective, so that's why there won't be any end to this conversation. But one of the things about just you don't necessarily have to have a marriage license to be with a woman. It's just a matter of if you're together. And by the way, I don't like to just say single moms. I like to say fatherless households to get the point across, because that's more accurate, because there are people not married and a woman might call herself single, but the man's living in a house with her. And that even if they're not married, that makes a difference to the kids. But anyway, so if I have a live-in girl or whoever's the breadwinner, I think consideration from one of the partners to the other, whether it doesn't have to be a marriage, but there should be something written to give the other person the access they need to identify themselves as your significant other, one way or the other. Whether it's sanctioned by the state or not, there's some legal things you probably can do. So that needs to be considered, because either one of you, after you've been together for 10 to 20 years, if the other one goes, you want to at least have power of attorney or some access to get your affairs in order. So that's just something to consider. You don't necessarily have to be married, but there should be something there to take care of that. And as far as brother, respecting all women, whether they're marriage material or not, I don't disagree with that. The other sister came out here and started spanking everybody, and we didn't get a chance to answer her. But the truth of the matter is, if a person wants to be a 304, if a woman wants to live that kind of life, that's cool. Everybody comes to their own revelations at some point in their life, and who am I to judge, or who are any of us to judge? But nobody can judge us or me or some other married person to have standards on the kind of woman we want to be with. So somehow we just got to come to grips with everybody's not going to fall in line to our worldview, and kind of be happy with that, as long as they're not hurting anybody else, So that's all I had to add.
Bet. All right, we're gonna get to our final question of the day. We're gonna start with Sparkle. So now that we asked the question a little bit in the beginning and everybody got the dialogue on it, so we're gonna take about 1 minute and answer the question again, but you're gonna advise the panel and people watching and all of that why or why not. So final question: is the Heaux phase worth it? Why or why not? Sparkle, you got it first.
The Heaux phase is not worth it because it's taxing on a woman emotionally, physically, and mentally. And I would say that rather than looking at what people are talking about and hot girl summers and all the rest of it, I think people need to tune off. Stop listening to the songs that that promote it. Stop watching the movies that promote it. Just take some time for personal reflection and see how you feel and what you want. Because from what I see out here in these streets and on these YouTube streets, the majority of women who participate in the hoe phase outwardly make it look like they're okay with it and they're braggadocious about it. But truth be told, they wouldn't be so pissed off with people calling them sluts and whores and all the rest of it if they truly believed in what they was doing.
That's a good point.
They obviously feel some kind of way about it because they know that it's not benefiting them. And why allow someone to use you like a toilet for easy relief? You know it's not benefiting you. You know it's harming you in some way, shape, or form. And okay, you might have the odd moment of enjoyment here or there when you're having this sex, but when you're home on your own and he's gone and your girls ain't there and your friends ain't there, you know how you feel about it. You know you feel dirty about it. That's why you don't like people calling you sluts, whores, and all the rest of it. So, with that being said, you need to reflect on the things you're doing. Everything you do has a consequence. If you're cool with the consequences, carry on. But if you know deep down it's going to hurt you and you're going to feel some kind of way, you need to make some other decisions because people can only use you the way you allow them to.
All right. Damn. Truth bomb. All right. Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Is the whole phase worth it? And this is for men and or women. You can specify one or both. Is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not?
I don't think it's worth it. And if I'm talking about, well, men are going to do what they do. But like I said, I don't think there's a double standard between men and women. I think there's different standards. And I think that's significant. I think double standard is not the right word, or right phrase. But I don't think it's worth it to women because I think women are starting to say so themselves. Somewhere, and it just happens later on. It depending on the women, it might happen at 30, it might happen at 25, but somewhere around 40 years old, a lot of women start to get this revelation when it's almost too late, that they've skipped over some biological imperative in their life because they just wanted to play around. And when you talk about women who don't want to be married, it's always to the same thing because they have this, they call it freedom. They call it this, they call it that. But essentially what they really want to be able to do is ride the carousel when they want to. And again, I'm not passing any judgment on that, but that's what it is. Let's take, for example, Tia Mowry. She left her marriage because she wants to get laid by somebody else. She could say all this other stuff that she's talking about, but she wants to get laid by another man. So I think women are coming to this revelation that the whole phase is not beneficial to them, and it benefits men better than it benefits them. White women have come to that revelation as well. I mean, so look at Amber Rose on her depression tour that she's on right now. Trying to shame guys for not wanting her after she slung it all around the place, right? Or on another example, look at Lori Harvey. She's sitting on the top of the world, but her value from the sexual marketplace is going down, and she doesn't even know it.
Yep.
Because in the circle she runs in, by the time she hits 30, you could probably add maybe 3 or 4 more guys on there. And then when she's looking for a high, quote unquote, high value man, maybe in those circles, ain't no guy going to want to marry her either because his peers is going to make him feel, he's going to be, his esteem will be messed up with his peers. That's what it's all about. You're not going to want to walk into one of your places, you're married to her and everybody in there busted down. So she don't know it yet, but it's coming. So that's what I have to say. It's not worth it. Women have to put a governor on what's precious to them, not for men, but for themselves. And, but men appreciate that. And there's nothing wrong with men appreciating a woman who values herself, not just from the box, but from everything else. So that's my way of looking at it.
Thank you very much for your contribution. As always, sir. CEO DMP, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So from your perspective, is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not?
I don't see any way, shape, or form that it could possibly be worth it for the simple fact that in the end, all of these women, all of them who go through their whole phase, they're ultimately going to want a man who values them, flat out and period. And even with the man whole phase, woman whole phase, it's different because what women are looking for men is a provider and protector. And it don't matter how many women I've been with, I can be that. But for a man, I don't care about your money. I'm not looking for your protection. Everything, really, the only thing I'm kind of valuing in a woman is her cleanliness. So you're giving up the only thing that I'm looking for, where I can sleep with multiple women. When you get me, you're still getting everything you want for my body count doesn't matter because I'm strong. I'm a protector. I'm educated. I'm smart. I'm going to look out for things. You're not worried about my body count. But for me, I'm not looking for you to have money. I'm not looking for you to be a provider or protect. I'm only looking for a good woman. And when I say good, for me, primarily, that's your cleanliness. It's your
clean.
You know so I don't see how it could possibly be worth it because ultimately, all you're doing, you're going to get over that whole phase and you're going to look for a man who's going to value you. And as soon as he find out about your whole phase, that value is gone.
And so this is the funny thing. So this is where the conversation usually goes left. I just want to add this before we usually, because women feel so shamed about what CEO DMP just said, you start getting into the trying to chop it up. Well, how does a man really know? And I want to make something really, really clear right now. A woman that's a virgin or got 5 bodies or less does not act the same as a woman with 50 bodies or more. Y'all do not know this. Y'all think we don't understand, ladies. But as a man gets more mature, he can tell. And judging by the lack of rings on certain women's fingers, you need to know this is the truth. We can tell when you just don't have the chastity, when you just don't have the self-respect. You move different. You talk different.
Your attitude
you don't
is
realize
different.
that your behavior, like one of the things that I liked about women, certain women in my life, is their how careful they were about entering intimate spaces with me. Do you know what it means when a college girl don't want to come to your room? That's a girl with little to no bodies acting like that. That you get too close to her, or you touch her, I'm sorry, because she's been preserving herself for the right dude. Ladies, we know. So don't try to muddy up the conversation like, oh, well, how can you tell how much she got? Trust me, when a man is ready to look for that one, these women that have preserved themselves has certain characteristics apart from the ones who let men run all through them. Just saying. 304 culture is real. That's why it's called a culture. Y'all have developed a style of behavior, even a language about yourselves that allows us to identify you. Black Men Unfiltered, you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not? Give us some education.
Absolutely. I think I agree with CEO again, man. I think that there's no reason to do it. I hear a lot of women say this. I've heard a lot of women say, girl, that was when I was going through my whole phase. And I'm looking at them like, yeah, all y'all single. Yeah. But one of the things that I've learned that I use with the kids in the community, when we talk about sex with the kids, I have them draw a pie on a piece of paper. And I have them draw it into slices. And I said, and to the young women, I said, I want you to write down just any random names. So we'll write down Jeffrey, we'll write down Beans, John the Baptist, we'll write down CEO DMP, right? And it's a total of 8 slices. And after we put all those 7 slices, I said, these slices with the men's name in it represents the men you have slept with. I said, well, how many slices of pie is left? They say only 1. I say, so this is the one that you give your husband when you get married. So instead of your husband having a whole pie to eat from, you've only save 1 slice of pie for him. This is what I teach him. Only 1 slice of pie is left for your husband when he could have had the entire pie. But then I have one more and I'm done. I had the young lady stand up with a glass in their hand, a mason jar full of water. And it was pure water. You could see straight through it. And I had all the boys stand in front of the girls. And I said, I want each one of the boys to open up your bag of Cheetos and start chewing the Cheetos, but don't swallow them. And I had the girl stand there, and she opened the mason jar, and I told each one of the boys to spit their Cheetos in that mason jar. The girl said, "Ugh," and after it was over, she said, "Ugh." I said, before that pure jar with that water in it, that was your purity. That was you. You were pure. You were good. I say, but now all these different men is spit inside this jar, which represents your body. Would you want to drink from this? Would you want to drink from this jar? She said, no. I say, so your husband don't either. So keep your legs closed. I'm done.
Oh, damn. Mic drop.
Kudos to you on the visualization technique.
I'm going back later to write that down. That is an awesome experiment.
I got it right there. Can I borrow that? Can I borrow that one?
No, he's gonna have to release the copyright.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have to release the copyright for that one, because that's getting stolen whether you approve or not. I just want to all right,
I'm about to borrow that one.
Is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not? Beans, you there? Yeah, he's
yeah. You said me.
Yeah. Is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not?
For the majority of people, no, but for a small minority of people, yes. I have a lot of respect and value for people who produce adult content. If they weren't whores or going through a horror phase, we wouldn't have as much pornography and XXX movies that we have. But again, being serious, some people, bro, it's just not that. We can contribute it to upbringing a lot of times. Some of it may be DNA, certain things in you, also experience. I think the way I look at it is we all born, like they say, we born with a clean slate. I don't think that's it. I think we're all born with universal programming, and our experiences tap into certain things and just brings it out of us. And then that's how we slowly become who we are. And like I said, some women just ain't built for marriage. Some men ain't built for marriage. Some people ain't built to be parents, you know what I'm saying? Let alone, godparents or uncles. Like, it's some horrible people out here, but it's some people that's not horrible. They just love sex. And, it's some people that just love being selfish, and, they can't put anything above their own self-interest. And the whole phase kind of comes with that. But then there's another part of it too that we don't discuss enough, which is that a lot of people use sex to fill a bunch of voids. They use it, they get a lot of things out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why people don't talk about this enough, Trigger. It's a reason why women like calling you daddy. During sex. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's a reason for that. People are going to be dismissive and no, it's just playing, like, okay, whatever. Right? But that's what I'm saying. It's people that's trying to plug holes in their soul, in their heart. You know what I'm saying? With sex, it's a lot of reasons why they use sex. And I'm not saying that it's healthy. I'm saying, instead of being judgmental, why don't we just be honest about our own shit and not try to judge people after we have made certain changes? You slept with 10, 12, 15 people, and now you married. So, marriage is the end all be all, and you want to brag about it and act like everybody else is pieces of shit. When meanwhile, in the Black community, the average marriage lasts 5 years, and I've been with my girl for 12. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think we need to stop being so divisive and just try to be more understanding. I think that is what the point of communicating and conversating is about, and not just besmirching people. But again, man, like, I spent a lot of time holding a lot of vitriol in for women based on the things that I went through with my OG and the things I went through in my relationships with my kids' mothers and stuff like that. And I've been on my healing journey for the last year. I've been interviewing women for the docuseries that I'm putting together. I've interviewed 8 women so far. And what I can tell you is that women have experiences, man, that we don't talk about, that we don't deal with. Transformations from the time when they 5 to 8, when they 8 to 11, when they're 11 to 13, 13 to 16. And I just think if we talk more about the experiences and stop looking at experiences as excuses But just as roadmaps to who people have become and who they are today, I think we'll have more of an understanding and we can be more empathetic to each other as a people in general.
Very well said, my guy. And I always enjoy your perspective because we say this a lot. Some people will move off their square to be more a part of the group. You stay on your square, and I don't know what the word is, worldly perspective, but it's a true perspective, all things considered. If everybody's so pure and don't participate in whole culture, how come all these corn subscriptions are going up? But you see what I'm saying? So if we look at it like that, then you definitely have a point. We'll drill more into that later. Appreciate that. John the Baptist.
Wait, Trigger. Somebody in the chat said, some men do call women mama.
All right. Just to be clear, I do call my wife mama, but that's a Nigerian thing.
Oh my God. I'm going.
You call the name, your spouse the name your kids call them. That's a Nigerian thing.
Okay.
All right. So I was like, no, if you hear me just yell, hey mama, I'm not doing it for any reason.
Not during sex though, right?
Nah, hell no.
No.
Hey,
I'm not.
Beans, real quick. Those women that are saying daddy or I think we should seriously, because I think it's a different perspective when you start having kids and you have daughters. You start to look at things a little different. And so I think that those women like that, I don't want my daughter in there calling a dude daddy or doing all this other shit when she could just go sit down and just go to therapy. That's the biggest problem in our community right now. Don't nobody want to sit down on that couch, right? Nobody wants to sit down and go get the help they need mentally. There's a lot of mentally disturbed people out here riding penis.
Damn. Facts, factuals. And I mean, therapy even comes in many different forms. They don't even want to take the survey to see what type they need.
Exactly.
They might not even need the full clinical style. They can do groups. They can do non-clinical groups. They don't even want to see about that.
That's a good point.
Mr. John the Baptist, what is your? I think you may have answered, but is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not?
My answer is no to men and to women. It's not worth it. I think the whole phase, it destroys the mind, the psychology of the mind, and it makes you look at sex and relationship a whole different way than what it was intended for. It's you devalue people and you demean people just for sexual gratification. It's just what you want. It's for your pleasure. But then you don't end up caring about the individual themselves. And so I think if you understand holistically what sex is for in a healthy fashion, it would make relationships a whole lot better. In the sense we would have all this gender wars that are going on right now. The whole phase has created an environment where the alphabet is getting longer and longer. We can't understand gender. When I was growing up, it was male and female, two genders, and I don't know what's going on now. I think the whole phase has created a situation where it talks about a reprobate mind, and it changed. A reprobate mind is when you just decided that I don't care what is right. I'm going to do what I feel is right, what I feel like I want to do, without any consequences, without the consequences that come with it, with your decision. It's just what I want to do, what makes me feel good. I don't care who I hurt. I don't care who I offend. This is just what I want to do. I'm like I say, my views are traditional. I know most men don't think that the whole phase doesn't bother them. I think it bothers us. I think it bothers men too. Am I judgmental? I do not deny it. I'm very judgmental. But I think I judge from a good place, because I think I want, in the end, my judgment comes from, I want what's best for society. I know that through my belief system that God knows best for society. I'm traditional. That's my point of view.
Yes, sir. It's always welcome here. I appreciate that. You know, I rock with you. And I always actually participate a little order. And no matter what anybody says, whether they discipline or whether they claim to be biblical or Christian or spiritual or not, you all have the same fear of God. You better stop it. So that perspective is always going to be valuable in these conversations. All right. So,
but Trigger. Yes, side note, I call my wife mama too, but it ain't. But I'm not Nigerian though.
It is, you know what I'm saying?
It's because my kids. It's because my kids do it.
So I was gonna say, and you'll hear it in my And most Nigerians' households just be like, mom turn her head, Daddy, your food is ready. Like, you see what I'm saying? And she ain't calling them that for that reason. You call them what your kids call them. So I took on the same thing. I call my wife mama just because my kids call her mama. That's what she responds to. Appreciate that correction, by the way. All right. So anybody want to shout out their content, starting with Sparkle? Anything you got going on before we get out of here for the day? And I'm gonna read these super chats.
Yeah, I guess you guys can find me on Instagram. It's maya.kamara. And yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to all of you guys tonight. It's been some great perspectives. It's definitely got me thinking.
Yep. What I want you to do especially too, because it's nighttime over there where you at, right?
Yes, 8:15.
All right, please do your best to share this out to your people. I know this is nighttime content for them. I think they could. We're all the West. We all Western inspired culture, right? So they would love to hear it. If you could just help me do that and get the word out on the show, bring some of your people up with your perspective. We'd love to have them on. So I appreciate that. Will
do. I'll try and bring some of my Nigerian friends as well from the UK.
Oh, bet. It's a lot of them. People don't even understand. If I wasn't living in America, they'd be like, people say go back to Nigeria all the time. It's like, if I wasn't here, I'd just go to the UK. I got people there too. We're everywhere.
Tons of them here,
yeah. I got people in Australia. Where you want me to go? Because kick me out. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I got passports everywhere, or citizenship rather. All right, marriage, politics, and sports, sir. Do you want to shout anything out? I know your channel is new.
Thanks for letting me up, Trigger Mike. I appreciate being on the panel with the rest of the folks here. We had some good conversation. Yeah, I started my YouTube channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. I know a lot of people are hitting this thing every day. But I have a couple of things. I'm going to try to add some content and maybe get into it. I'm just fooling around with thumbnails and stuff like that. But I have a couple of things that's interesting. I'm one of the guys who argue with everybody that there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. And I did a piece on that, and I put it on my board. So anybody wants to look at that, that's cool. I think it's okay because I really argue with people on that. I had some old school game I put on there, and a few other things. So I only have like 4 or 5 videos on there. Anyway, but I'm gonna put some more stuff. I'm gonna talk about the Memphis situation, the Memphis 5. And again, I said this before to you. I have a piece I'm working on about. I think blacks need to divest from the Democratic Party or any allegiance to any party.
Please put me on that panel, please. Put
Yeah.
me on
So I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a panel, but I'm gonna just put some information up. Maybe one day we'll talk about it. All right. Thanks a lot again.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. Always welcome. Black Man Unfiltered, first time on the show. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and your perspective. You got anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, man. My channel is Black Man Unfiltered Network, man. Thank you for coming on last Tuesday. I appreciate you, brother. We had a really good conversation, man. So thank you for being there, man. Look forward to doing more work with you. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I just want to say the whole phase is not worth it, ladies. I think that you should stay away from that because the consequences is long. There's no reason. I think that if you feel that the need to be that type of woman, you should get help for that now. Don't wait till you have, don't wait so long that when you actually go get help, you at stage 4.
Definitely.
Don't be at stage 4 headed to hospice. Go ahead and get that done. When you feel that thing in you, you go ahead and take care of that thing early, because you know that what they say, if they catch it early, they can help you. That's all I got, brother.
Facts. Thank you so much, sir. Beans, what you got for us? Shout out your channel.
So I have 2 channels: the ISYLP channel, I Seen Lil Podcast, and a new channel, which is the Lil Podcast Produced It channel. Trying to build that one up. If you can, please go subscribe to that channel. Lil Podcast Produced It. Lil Podcast Produced It. Man, I say this every time, bro. I'm just happy that you got a show, like for real, because I like how you conduct panels. And it's not an easy thing to do, and I have a lot of respect for people that do it, especially those that can maintain panels up to 10 people. I've been through it, so I know it's crazy. Look, A lot of people are gonna have a lot of stuff to say about me. But the people that really rock with me, the people that really listen to me, they know what I mean. They know I'm coming from a place of pure intentions. I say what I mean what I say. I love my content creators, such as Trigger Mike. And we put a lot of effort into this. So just support the platform, support the show, keep hitting the chats, keep super chatting, keep cash apping, keep doing all that. But most importantly, I think we got to start like spreading some good gospel about each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we don't get to keep having the conversations about what's wrong, because I'm one of those people that believe that's how you diagnose, right? You diagnose the problem, and the solution is usually in the diagnosis. But Black women, we love y'all. Y'all be so thick and juicy and stuff, and pretty feet and stuff. I'm just saying they do be looking.
They've heard that before. That's how we got to this topic we at now. They've heard all that.
Just keep jogging. I love watching y'all jog. It's your boy Beans, aka Lil Podcast. Shout out to my man Trigger. Shout out to my man JR. I'm out.
Hey, look, on that note, we got some topics coming up. Like, I like getting, you got to hit the divisive stuff first. You got to get the clickbait first, but we got some stuff. I'm gonna flip it on his head.
No
so
doubt.
I appreciate that, bro. John the Baptist, take us out. What you got? You want to shout anything out?
Well, yeah, I don't have a YouTube channel, but I'm like a Barnabas. I like to support those guys who are doing it. When I stress me doing a good job, I like to come and support guys and ladies. Also, too, like just encourage the guys who putting out good messages and good work. You don't necessarily have to agree with you. Just gather difference of opinions and ideas. Have good conversations. I love good conversations. I love good debates because I learn from everybody. So I just like supporting you guys, and I just photobomb everybody's show every now and then.
Appreciate that, sir. Thank y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and do my last little bit of monologue, and I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta pick my daughter up. It is 2:21 p.m. Central Time. Hey, for all of y'all, please, before you leave out, listen to this last piece, but also hit the like button if you have not already hit it. Subscribe if you have not already subscribed. All right. So what do I feel? Is the whole phase worth it? Why or why not? Ladies, listen up. The whole phase is not worth it. I'm going to talk to the ladies first. It is not worth it. Preserve your box, preserve your chastity. It is what men value. And no matter what you say, you want to be valued by the man who eventually you are going to marry. Women do want marriage because all of your complaints in life that you have today are solved within the institution of marriage to the right man. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. Okay, so the other reason women need to preserve themselves is because I'm not sold that women love sex as much as men. I know we say that a lot. What I think women value is intimacy, and you're looking for it in the form of sex a little bit too much these days. Okay, biochemistry says that you want to be intimate with your man, not every man out here. That is what gets you off. And because this dude ain't rocking with you no more, and that dude ain't picking up the phone, you start to go through more and more men to get that intimacy fixed. It's just not quite doing it for you because you still got that one guy on your mind, or that one dude that you want to bond with. Remember, the bond you want is not found, it's built. So preserve yourself so you can bond with that male. For the men, let me move to you now. Listen, you can call me a simp, you can call me whatever you want. I do think at some point men do get affected by the amount of partners that they get with. If it's 50, but let me be very clear. If it's 50 for women, it's 500 for men. Okay. It's going to take a lot longer for a man to be affected by this. But let me make a statement about why I think men can be affected by this. I believe that too much casual sex in the whole culture can make a man hollow. And what I mean by that is you start to lose respect for women in general. That is when I got out of the game. Right when I felt like this is a little too easy and I may not even be able to bond with the woman I want to choose, right? Because it's not that you're just having nice, intercourse with these women. Some of y'all are going full on Pornhub on these women. That is going to cause you to lose respect for women in general. All right. When you just out here doing all this stuff, I can't believe she let me do that. This is the first night. You're just gonna literally be desensitized to all women if you just out here doing that to women, and it's too easy for you because you can just get women to do that. All right, so be careful, fellas. You can be affected by this too. It takes a lot longer for you, but yes, this can affect you too. So be aware of that. That's for young men. That's for older men. Any man who is out here doing his thing, even if you are being a bachelor out here, there is a way. I always took respect in courting women and treating them the right way. I always have respect for the women that I got with. That is a different type of bachelor out there that, yes, he will wine and dine you. That was me. I will date you. I will treat you properly. I will open the door for you. Right? So that's dating with intent. All right. But then there are dudes out here who literally just have one thing on their mind. Ladies, please steer clear of these dudes. Again, thank y'all for watching the Trigger Mike Show today. Make sure, remember, if you have not contributed to the show, I'm gonna read these super chats, but make sure y'all like and subscribe and share this out to your friends. Sherwin Thomas, $5. We need to stop saying that these are YouTube talking points. Y'all up here talking about real life situations and labeling it YouTube talking points. Come on. Good point. Black Man Struggles, $5. Sex tourism started with women, though. Raw Beast just said a bunch of nothing. And she's the type of modern woman to stay away from. Wish she was here to answer that or answer to that. Clement Gray, $5. Appreciate it. Maybe all who believe in godly marriages should get a podcast going and stop all this foolishness. I nominate John the Baptist to start it. Hey, me too. I agree with that. Clement Gray, $5. We keep it up. We are going to destroy ourselves. No need for Jesus to return. How we want the perks of God but refuse to obey God. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Damn, where you come up with these points, man? Like they are fire points. Or you just letting God speak through you. If Clement Gray, $5. If the law of the land goes against God and his order as believers, that's when we are not supposed to check the scriptures. Or that's not supposed to follow. Check the scriptures. I agree. Tech Nobility, $20, the highest one of today. Appreciate that. It's very disheartening to hear these cats hate on marriage. Those that control the world create the families that own it all. That is very true. The internet we're on right now is owned by somebody married. Don't fall for the trap, black men. Hey, listen, I'm married. I don't even understand why these people speak on marriage. I believe in my heart they're afraid of it. Tech Nobility. They're afraid of it. And you fear what you don't understand. Understand it better, and you won't have such a negative view of it. And don't let the world really, dictate your worldview on marriage. Protect that institution by any means. All right, y'all. It's been the Trigger Mike Show. I'll see y'all tomorrow. If there are any shows, please check the Lapeef Network. Hit that notification bell for anything coming on tonight, and we will see you next time. All right, y'all. Be good.